Bluff City Media presents the No Bluffing podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Christian Ingram and Evan Hayes. Now, let's get to the show.
Grizz Nation, what's going on? I am Chris Ingram.
And I'm Evan Hayes.
And this is the No Bluffin podcast, where we keep it all the way real, all the way raw, and all the way honest about everything. Grizzlies, man. Glad to be back for another week. We going live on Twitter, and we posting again on YouTube. So if you're watching this on Monday, live on YouTube, then you know what's going on. Been trying this out the last couple of weeks. Something a little different. And y'all been messing with it. Y'all been messing with it. So we're gonna keep it going, I guess, until we think of something else to try. I'm over here trying a new camera angle, as y'all see. I don't know if I like it, but
we gonna see.
Try some new things, man. We don't know. But anyway, Evan, how was your week, my brother? Tell me something good. Give me some good news, man.
It has been another week, and we have finally, this is my last time talking about it because it's finally the week. This is the week that I will be done with undergraduate. My brother tuned in. What's up, Ed? Can't wait to see you this weekend, bro. But yeah, it's the week, bro. We finally 5 days away from the graduation of Evan Hayes. So I'm happy about that. So it's just been prepping for finals and getting stuff together. So it's been a cool little week. You know how finals is stressful,
Right.
But I literally did an exam last night while I was texting you about the show and all that. Had a got a few presentations tomorrow, but it was all cool though. Body feeling good. Feeling a little FOMO because every college in America opened up their track season this past weekend. Of course, I was not running for a lot of different reasons that I will get into later. But still staying true to what I'm doing and still keeping the faith that everything gonna work out. But everything was pretty much smooth, bro. What about your week? How was your week, bro?
Man, it's been a long one, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Mm-hmm.
We have been preparing, and I thought I had told you, man. We have been preparing about a week for my oldest daughter had to have in a weird way. I don't want to call it weird, but kind of like a emergency surgery on some stuff she had going on, and so that was rough. I ain't gonna lie. Any parents out there,
for sure,
as young as she is, she only 3.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing her little body, man, trying to talk her into a good mood, just keeping a good head space.
Yeah,
she was even excited because she didn't know. She thought it was some Document stuffings, for play. It was like, oh yeah, but it ain't
keep
that
energy.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It broke me when we watched them roll her back there by herself. We couldn't go. I was like, oh man, this over with. That got me right there, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. So
I know that was a long day in the hospital.
Yeah, well, it went by pretty quick, about an hour.
That's not bad.
It wasn't too long. She got to come home and stuff like this. So we've been kind of nursing her back to 100% the whole week. But other than that, outside of that, the week been good. Just trying to, like I said, that right there put a damp on a lot. Trying to make sure she good. So but other than that, man, everything was good. Grizzlies back in action. Had some stuff go on this week that I'm excited to talk about. I know you are as well. Before we get started, man, make sure y'all go ahead and give us a follow on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He's down here. Y'all see him right there. Go ahead and give us a follow if y'all ain't doing that already.
Please do. Y'all ain't messing with me no more. I dropped from 500 something to 300 something now, and I don't know what happened.
I told you what it was.
Elon,
bro.
Stop saying that. No, I'm saying
it's
Elon,
the truth. I lost about 150, so I know.
Elon, I think Elon just got it out for me. I don't know what I did to that man, but I feel like he
bots,
just don't.
Bro. The election over with, so they finally got all the bots out of there. All them little fake bots that was, posting political and freaky stuff.
I guess so. But get my engagement back up, y'all. I'm still trying to feed in, still trying to help y'all out. Y'all help me out. Just please, my guy. Please.
I told you, man. Go on, put your toes out there, man. Start an OnlyFans.
Oh my goodness. It's not even nighttime. Chris already on time, y'all. It's gonna be a long show, y'all. We going live anyway, so
you already know.
We'll see what's gonna happen.
Man, y'all tap in the comments. Let us know. We are gonna drop the link. Well, it's on Twitter live, so we can't drop the link, but we can DM you the link. So if you want to join in, make sure y'all, make sure you add us in the comments below. and we will shoot you that DM you that link so you can come on, join on. Want to hear from y'all, man. We ain't got to have a long drawn out conversation. You don't got to show your face. We can kind of keep it like it's radio almost in a sense. Yep. But come on and voice your opinion, man. Let us know how you feel about some of these topics, some of this stuff going on in the Grizzly world. For sure, we want to hear from y'all on that. So we're gonna just go ahead and jump right into it, man. We only got about really 2 topics today for the No Bluffin news, but we got 3 good topics to talk about as far as the Grizzlies playing ball. So let me get my theme music, DJ. And we're gonna get this popping.
Give me my theme music. Like we priming this mother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we won't pop it off like this, man. Talk of the town right now. College football playoff bracket was announced, and my beloved Colorado Buffaloes didn't make it. Obviously, we kind of knew that was coming. They shot themselves in the foot, losing that second game that they lost
to Kansas.
End of the season, the game they should have won. We know that's, to me, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, let me ask you this before we get into the actual college ranking, the actual bracket.
Yeah.
Based off what came out today, you ain't got to go in details of which team in that, but just what would have been your confidence level of Colorado against what the teams that were announced out there? What you think they would have did?
I'm looking at it right now. I feel like they could have got out the first round. Honestly, like if they would have matched up with a SMU or Penn State or Indiana, even a Clemson. I feel like Clemson is probably the best team they could have matched up with and caught a dub. So I really hate that. Even Notre Dame, because Notre Dame didn't look great in some certain parts of the year also. So of course I hate that. I'm looking at it right now. I hate that Colorado didn't make it. It's just kind of the luck of the draw, but I feel like they could have won for sure. Like with how Shadur and Travis and that defense was playing, I feel like they had because honestly, like if you get the ball in Shadur's hands, they got a fighting chance. If they had to just keep getting the ball, they had a fighting chance. I feel like they could have matched up with pretty much almost all the teams in that first round. Real talk. And Arizona State, because they didn't play Arizona State in the Big 12. So if they would have somehow got out of the first round and played Arizona State, I feel like we could have been seeing them in the semifinal. But hey, you'll see. I think it's still gonna be entertaining. I still feel like the CFP got it right for the most part. I know a lot of people up in arms about Alabama not making it. Alabama shouldn't have made it, so I don't know why that's even a conversation. But I like it though. I'm excited to see what happens over this 12-team field over the next few weeks. And I think December 20th is the first. Yeah, December 20th is the first game. So yeah, I'm excited to see. So what about you? How do you feel like Colorado would have survived?
Man, I think they would have did well, bro. Let me pull this up here so the folks that ain't seen it yet, they can go ahead and check what's going on. So as y'all see, man, the top 4 teams, we got Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State. I'll be honest, the only team I really haven't watched like probably a minute of this year is Arizona State out of this. Everybody else I've probably seen, bits and pieces, maybe even a game, half a game, a quarter at least. I ain't seen nothing for Arizona State. So this shocks me. I'll be honest, just because I don't know what they did this season.
They won the Big 12. That's all that matters. They won the Big 12. The conference Colorado was in, so I can't hate. Like they won the Big 12.
Man, that's garbage, bro.
It's garbage as the conference champion.
Yeah, well, not them per se, but like you can't tell me Colorado getting that game they don't win. Another thing too, we talking about the fanfare, the entertainment, all of that, the numbers, whatever you want to look at. That game, like I saw some people posting about it. Like I didn't watch the game, but I saw the attendance just wasn't there.
It wasn't hitting like that.
And we know if Colorado was in it, the thing was going to be packed. Same thing going into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the only team I really wasn't too sure about. I think they would have fared pretty well in pretty much any of these first round games that you put them in. Ohio State has been iffy they've been kind of iffy to me. I think they could have got Tennessee. Texas just depends on, the day.
Yeah.
I know they probably wanted to get Penn State. And then that last, down at the bottom right here, Indiana and Notre Dame. It would have been a toss-up, man. But I think if they would have got past that, depending on who they get this next round, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But, it didn't happen. So shout out to my boy Perry Shark. He say, what is better than what if. So we ain't going to talk about what if. Let's talk about what is. Who do you got, on the spot? We ain't really talked about this. Breaking down the bracket. Who do you got coming out of the first round to face Arizona State?
Texas. Because just talent-wise, even though Texas just lost, of course they lost to Georgia and Quinn Ewers did look good. I just feel like the competition Clemson has played all year doesn't match up to the competition that Texas has played. So I feel it's going to be a close game, but I trust the quarterback play of Quinn Ewers and even Arch Manning and that how-powered offense they have over Clemson. With the next one, Tennessee, Ohio State. Two teams that have been very up and down throughout the whole year. I feel that's probably the most competitive game in the first round. I just want to say Ohio State just because talent-wise, they're better. But both of these teams going to live and die by their quarterbacks. Both teams have had shaky quarterback play all year. I know Tennessee has a true freshman as a quarterback. I can't remember his name, but I know he's been inconsistent all year. I still want to say Ohio State just because of talent-wise. Penn State, SMU, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame. I slick want to go.
That might be the best first round game.
I slick want to say upset, honestly. I slick want to say Indiana because I just don't believe in Notre Dame. I just don't. I just really don't. No, I'm gonna say Indiana beating Notre Dame for the upset. That's what I'm gonna say.
So you got your bracket right now is Texas, Arizona State. You said
Ohio State, Oregon.
Okay, Ohio State, Oregon. You got
Penn State, Boise State, and Indiana, Georgia. All
right. So who you got out of that quarterfinals? Who you got making it to the semifinal round?
Texas beating the brakes off of Arizona State.
Damn.
Oregon also beating the brakes off of Ohio State because that's not going to be close because they already played each other this year. Penn State, I'm not handling Ashton Jeanty because he had a great year, but I feel like they've overhyped him a little bit because he's had a great year. But this whole Heisman thing, his season's going to come to the end because he's been playing folk in the Mountain West the whole year. So Penn State going to beat the brakes off of them. Georgia going to beat the brakes off of Notre Dame. And then Penn State and I'm just saying now, I got Georgia winning it all. That's just my pick. I'm gonna just say that straight up. I got Georgia winning it all.
Man, slow your roll, man. We're gonna get there.
Georgia, Notre Dame. Got Georgia winning. So the quarterfinals would be Georgia, Penn State. Yeah, the semifinals would be Georgia, Penn State, and Oregon and Texas. I got Oregon. Honestly, nah. Oregon's been looking good all year. I just feel like they're gonna fall off one good time. I feel like they're gonna have a bad game because they've looked.
Oh dang!
I don't know if they're gonna fall off in the championship or the semifinals. Because when Texas, I sleep when I pick Texas. Honestly.
So you got Texas and Georgia because you already lit the cat at the bag. Yeah. You got Texas and Georgia in a national championship game.
And because I just feel like because the SEC championship game was just such a dud, I feel like those teams are bound to play each other again. It just seems like they left too much. Like it was an entertaining game with the backup quarterback coming in and all that. And hopefully Carson Beck is healthy, obviously. But even if he's not healthy, I feel like they can make a national championship. I just feel like you've seen those type of games where it seems like the team just left too much on the field and they don't see each other again. Right. I just get that vibe from Georgia and Texas. I don't know what. I just feel like they play each other again. So I just got Georgia winning it all. Even though I don't like the SEC winning, I want Oregon to win, honestly. I want Oregon to win. First year in the Big Ten. I've always liked Oregon just with the Marcus Mariota days and all that. And the D'Anthony Thomas days. Like, I've been a decent Oregon fan for a little minute. Just, I don't know, man. I got Georgia, though. I got Georgia winning it all.
Cool. If I had to choose, I think I'm going to go like you, Texas, Arizona State. I think I'm gonna go Tennessee, Ohio over Ohio State in that first round game between them. Penn State, Boise State, and then I'm gonna go rock with you on the Indiana pick. I think Indiana's gonna get past Notre Dame for sure. So that puts Texas versus Arizona State. I'm with you. Let's go Texas over them. Tennessee, Oregon. Good season, Tennessee. I think Oregon's gonna get past y'all there.
Yeah.
Boise State and Penn State, here's the thing. I may be 100% wrong on this, but I got Boise State getting past Penn State, bro, on that one. I got a feeling he's going to what's his name? Jeanty. I think he's going to have a game that's going to kind of make that Heisman conversation even stronger. Even though I know it's a regular season for the most part award, but I think he's gonna have a very. Hold on, would they announce that before this?
What you mean? They announced this way before the national championship. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was screw it then. Never mind. It gonna really matter. But either way it goes, he may be pissed off if he don't get it and just go out there and tear them folks alive. So
for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right. So I'm gonna pick Boise State over Penn State in that quarterfinals. Obviously Georgia should, no matter what.
They should, yeah. If their quarterback is healthy, I don't see a team beating them, honestly. If they have a healthy quarterback, let me just say that.
That's the thing.
If they have a healthy quarterback.
Indiana might get out there and screw some mess up, though.
I just think the talent on both sides of the field, just the discrepancy of talent is just too big.
Yeah. All right, screw it. Let's go Georgia over them. So in the semifinal round, we got Boise State versus Georgia and Oregon and Texas. I'm going to take Oregon over Texas. And like you said, if it's healthy, it makes sense, but screw it.
You finna put bro.
I don't care about you know this. I don't care about being wrong. Like I don't. So if I'm wrong, I come back and say, you know what, I screwed up. I was wrong. But I'm gonna say, man, Boise State gonna get Georgia because something's gonna happen with their quarterback situation. Georgia has shown in a lot of games where they don't just go out there and dominate. They won, but if they get a little lax, I mean, Jenny get off on them folks. I don't know. So. Again, I could be 100% wrong. I don't care about being wrong. I will say I was wrong. I got Oregon, Boise State in the national championship. Screw it.
Oregon, Boise State is a nasty combination.
It's nasty.
That is a nasty combination. Oh my goodness! You tell me the college football committee is gonna be happy that
they're gonna be pissed.
Boise State made the national championship out of the Mountain West Conference. Oh my goodness, bro!
But that shake up good for Memphis, right? Because if they talking about joining up with Pac-12, Boise State would be in there, right?
Yeah, they would.
Hey, they let bode well for Memphis. I ain't gonna hold you if they're still on the table. So
yeah,
even though I ain't never heard of what Boise State's basketball team does.
I don't know what state Boise State is in, bro. What state is
Idaho, fam. Come on, don't do that.
What's in Idaho?
You got on me the other week about my geography.
Oh yeah, you did. You did say something super. What did you say last week?
Man, I can't remember.
You said something so. I was like, bro, what? Okay, I don't know. I don't know none that's in Idaho though. So excuse me.
I think they're good for potatoes, bro. They're good for potatoes. I hope
everything in like the Midwest of the country is good for potatoes and corn and open fields.
Idaho's the best, bro. Go to Walmart. You see them Idaho Junks.
All right, well-traveled Christian Ingram talking.
I ain't never went there. Sorry to tell you, I ain't going there either. I stay one post to go.
For real, though.
Sorry to tell you, I don't know nothing about that. But yeah, y'all let us know in the comments, man. How y'all feel about the college football rankings? Did they get it right? Are you upset about certain teams not making it versus teams that did make it? Alabama ain't in, so hey, Nick Saban, go get your job back, bro. Go get your girl back, bro. Go get your girl. She needs you. She down. She looking down bad, man, for real. Next, we got the Grizzlies. We're gonna talk some Grizz basketball real quick before we get to the main topics. The Grizzlies bench is continuing to. I don't want to say save them, but they definitely been thriving, bro, over the last couple weeks. So I just want to kind of get them some flowers real quick. Nothing really news or worthy or anything like that. Nothing groundbreaking, but from what we've seen from Smart. Moving to the bench, getting them guys energized. He did have a bad game the other night where he scored 0 points. I think that was against.
That was the game before the game before the Mavs game.
Who did they play? It was back at home. Who did they play?
1 second. Keep talking. I can't think of the top of my head right now.
We live, y'all. So sometimes stuff miss you.
Yeah, Memphis Grizzlies.
Why can't I think of who they played?
I know they played. Let me just look at Marcus Smart stats. Let me just do that. That'd be smarter to do that.
Wow, man.
No, he had 0 against the Mavs. You was right, the Mavs.
It was the Mavs. Okay.
Yeah. He had 0.
He back the next game. Who was playing today? My bad.
Sacramento, because he had 18 against Sacramento.
That's who. Okay. All right. I got my games mixed up. But yeah, I mean, that's what bench players are. I mean, I hate bench because bench players sound so negative. You got such a connotation to it. Our reserves, they've been, they're gonna be up and down, bro. They're not gonna be the best players on the floor every single night. But finding ways to help the team win, like I said, shout out to what Smart has been doing. He did have that bad game against the Mavs. But I will say, Jake LaRavia, I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna say it. Jake LaRavia, he continues to just show that he's a formidable, 11th man,
12th man, yeah.
12th man, or whatever number you want to put on that. If we're gonna run that type of rotation, that guy is definitely gonna be in the rotation, just because he can play multiple positions, he can defend multiple positions. He's been showing it. He's getting blocks, getting steals. I don't really love the way he's been driving and kicking, but it's been working. It does get guys open looks, or just puts them in position. Not that he's like out there diming people up, but just his putting pressure on the rim, and then getting the kick out. It's been working, bro. So he's finding a role. He's finding just a rhythm with the team. And again, I don't know what that contract may look like, going into the summer, but if he's back next year, am I mad? No. Is he raising his trade value up in case we need to attach him to something? Absolutely. And that's all you can ask for either way, in him. And Santi, just being probably one of the more consistent guys on the team this whole season.
For sure.
I know at the beginning of the year I was putting him with Marcus Smart and all kind of trade machine packages.
Get them boys out of there. Dudes out of there.
Just because they were two of the more attractive pieces on our team. If you want to upgrade your team, and he's continuing to do that, man. Like you can say it's a system, which I believe that's 100% part of the reason why he's so good this year. Is the system that he's playing in. But he's hitting shots. When we need scoring, he's providing it in different ways. And that's all you can ask for from a guy that's making less than $4 million this year. He's going to demand a pretty penny next year. I'm thinking maybe anywhere from the 14 to 16 mil range.
Yeah, I would say 15 for sure. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but what's your thoughts, man? Just on the bench from what they've been able to show, and we still got 3 demons that ain't back yet.
Yeah, so, I was just echo what you're saying. Yeah, the bench has been kind of the unsung hero for this winning streak that we've been on. Santi Aldama, in my opinion, has been the MVP off the bench. Really, honestly, you could say he's one of the, like you said, the consistent player of the team, or one of the MVPs on the team. Of course, outside of Ja and Jaren and all that, he's played good on the bench. He's played good starting. He's having career numbers across the board. He's playing aggressive. He's not a liability on defense. I love what I'm seeing from him. He's blocking shots now. I love to see it from him. Of course, we're in the full essence of the Marcus Smart experience now, because now he can have a game where he putting up 15, 16 a game, then he can put up a goose egg the next game. But I know we're going to talk about it later. I still love it, just even though you would hate for one of those games to come in a pivotal part, but then you may get a 20-point game for Smart. So it's just kind of a whole part of it. Scottie Pippen Jr. in less minutes, because as we expect, Scottie Pippen Jr. is playing less minutes. Because of Smart, he's still doing what he can. He's not making the biggest impact, but with Smart playing how he's playing, it's really no point for him. I had to shout out LaRavia. I was one of the kings of get LaRavia off my team club, as everyone knows. But I'm glad to see him playing well. He's just kind of being that Swiss Army knife. Like, he actually closed the game against the Celtics, like, which I was saying, like, bro, you got to go back to Jalen Williams. You got to go back to Jalen Williams, and he didn't. He kept Jake Revy, and he did not mess it up. He looked good on defense. There's a few times where I thought he was going to do that slow Euro step and turn the ball over, but hey, turned out to work. He found open guys. He was getting BC involved. He was getting Dez open shots. So I love what I'm seeing from him. Jay Huff has continued to play good in spot minutes.
Shout out to Jay.
Yeah, I think he had 10 points last game. Well, last night he had 10. He had a few big threes. So yeah, just everyone just playing a role and being effective in the role and hitting timely buckets, timely makes, timely blocks, timely steals. Like, they're just doing all the little things, dirty work that's been needed for the team to be successful. And now we're finally seeing, and like you said, we still got 3 demons on the way. We're finally seeing on the low end what this team could possibly be when everyone is on one accord. And again, we talked about last night, Marcus Smart, one of the pivotal players on his bench, had an off game. That's going to happen, but we are so deep that we can have guys have off games. Of course, we don't want those games. We don't want those type of games often, but against the defending champs on the road, we're still able to go in there and walk out a dub. You can't be mad at really anybody. If you collectively get that thing done with everybody top to bottom contributing. Because even with Smart, I think Smart was like still like his plus minus was like -10 last night. When I saw him, he didn't have a great game, but he was still.
That was horrible.
Yeah, like he did not have a good game, like by no sense of imagine. But again, the guys that were around him made up for the slack. Like I'm looking last night, he had 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 for 11 from field, and 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. It's pretty bad. Him and Santi the only people that had negative plus minuses, and Jalen Wills. But hey, it happens. You know, you're playing a great team like Boston. You can't be mad at all. So I love what I'm seeing from the bench. Hopefully, when Gigi and Vince and Edie comes back, again, Taylor Jenkins has a task on his hands to decide who he finna play, because them 3 should be the first 3 people off the bench. And I don't know how you're gonna side with LaRavia and Pippen and Huff.
Oh, I know. I know how you side. You put them 3 demons out there. You put them in. That's how you decide. Should Luke keep getting sick and all the kind of stuff?
Oh my God, Luke, he finna play his. He finna get sick to the point where he don't got a role in this team no more. I'm so serious, and I really hate it because I was so keen on keeping Luke this offseason, but dude, he getting sick at the wrong time because the team playing well without him. We got more dudes on the way. Jalen Wills can shoot. Marcus Smart can shoot when he wants to. Like, what's the road for you, my guy? I really didn't notice he was gone last night. Honestly, I didn't. It wasn't a time in the game I was like, dang, we missing Luke right now. We really need a Luke 3. I don't know about you, but that thought did not cross my mind one time throughout the whole game.
Season. Oh, my bad.
No, you good? No. For the season is crazy. For the season is crazy. Nah, that's crazy work. But I love everything I saw from. I think last match I think we're like top 5 in bench score in the season, which is great to see. And every championship team pretty much has a deep bench. I feel like in the last like 10 to 15 years, the only team that hasn't had a deep bench is the KD Warriors. But they were so astronomically good. Yeah, they were so astronomically good with the top 6 to 7. They didn't need to, but we're supporting our stars. In a game like last night, I know I'm talking a lot, but it was on my spirit. A game like last night that with Ja, Jaren, and Dez all having to play well, but it's little times where they're not in the game, you need the bench to be there to make up the slack, and that's exactly what they did. So I can't speak enough of how good the bench has been playing over this win streak. Well, not win streak, but games of, I think we're 7 of our last 8, 8 of our last 9. So over this past 2.5 weeks, we've been playing great, and the bench has been a very, very big part of that.
Yeah, we're going to get into that Celtics game a little bit more, some of the things that we saw on the other side of the break. But I had one topic that we were going to kind of do towards the end, but you brought it up, man. I think it makes sense to go ahead and talk about it right now. And that is, let me find it. December 15th is coming up, bro. And for what people don't know, that is that's the opening of trade season.
The pseudo beginning of trade windows. People started making moves before Christmas, basically. Yeah.
You could have made moves depending on what the contract looks like before that, but this is when a lot of guys that signed deals this off season, a lot of those start to open up. You'll get a whole nother batch of those contracts will open up around January 15th. That's the one that I thought Luke was on, but everything that I'm looking at is showing that Luke's on the December 15th one. So, and then you obviously got the NBA trade deadline in February. You brought up, bro, that he kind of got sick at the wrong time, and we've been having these conversations really for the whole season because he's missed time and guys have stepped up.
Yeah.
Do you think that and it's probably going to include him because of this with his contract and just needing to find another role somewhere else? Do you think that they maybe jump on some type of move that because I'm just going to say this. A lot of people I've talked to that kind of in the know. The Grizzlies have been talking. I got something on my face. The Grizzlies have been talking. I don't know specifically or, every single deal, but I've heard some deals that are out there that they've been kind of talking about different teams. Different teams been reaching out, wanting certain players, even from us. Do you think that's something that they jump on early? Or do you think they maybe wait to the 15th deadline in January or just say, you know what, we're going to wait to February to make any type of move? Based on the way that you see the team playing, the roster shaking up and things like that, what kind of gauge you got on them making some type of move?
I think they wait to the regular deadline because we still haven't seen this team at full strength yet. Like, when we say we have 3 guys on the way, like we're saying 3 guys that can legit start. Like those 3 guys aren't just run-of-the-mill role players. Like they are viable championship pieces. Like they're gonna solidify our top 8, top 9. So until we see how everyone works together, I don't see this team. I don't see the front office trading anybody this early, because you really want to see how Gigi and Jalen and Vince and Marcus Smart, Santi, all those guys that could be coming off the bench. You want to see how all these guys play together. A Luke Kennard trade will always be there. If Jalen Raven keep playing like he's playing, that trade will pretty much always be there. But you definitely don't want to trade one of your key pieces until you see what you completely have together. And especially we keep winning, you don't have a dire need, or you don't have a big sense of urgency to trade these guys right now. So if we can get to the new year, we're 3rd in the West right now. We get to the new year, middle of the new year, around like 2nd, 3rd, 1st in the West. I think that should just be like, we're only making a deal unless we just really think it's gonna affect this team come May, June, July. And that's what they should be going for. Not, oh, we need a move, like, oh, we're just making a move. No, if we feel like this piece will almost damn near guarantee us propelling us close to a championship, then make the move. But if not, we're gonna keep winning. Let's rock with team what we got and keep winning. So I say they gonna wait a little bit for sure until we actually see what we got.
What they do and what I believe they should do is 2 separate things for me. I'm on the total opposite end of that, bro. I think they need to go ahead and make a move as early as they can, because this is my thing. If Luke is if this date is truly December 15th, like everything I've been saying, it is not January 15th. I hate the fact that teams a lot of times will wait until February, because that only give you roughly 2 months to get some type of
to jail and get some chemistry out of it.
Yeah, so waiting to the end if you don't have to me, is always grinding my gears. And also, those moves can dry up really, really quick, because if you got a couple guys that are like the hot commodities, we always, every trade season, we got, a group of guys, 3, 4, maybe 5 guys at the most, that are the most sought after guys. Then you got some little role players that kind of trickle in with it, after that. Once those 5 moves are up, you stuck with making minimal moves. And my thing is this Grizzlies team don't need minimal moves for the reasons that you just stated. Like, the minimal moves are just bringing back Zach Edey, Gigi Jackson, and Vince Williams. That's minimal. Getting them dudes healthy. If you're gonna make a move, you need to make a move to propel you, and that's my only thing. If you wait, you're chancing it that one of these other teams that are truly contenders can go out there and make the same move that you should have, and now you're sitting on your hands at the deadline throwing 2 second-round picks at the Clippers to get a Luke Kennard. Giving an example, like it was a couple years back that I was of the mind frame. You should have got off Dylan Brooks early, and then you lost him basically for nothing because of some stuff that went down. You should have got off him a whole deadline or summer before that. So I don't like giving Zach Kleiman in the front office any type of leeway to come into a press conference like they did. I want to say it was year before last, where they was Zach Kleiman was basically like begging us to believe him, like, oh, trust me, we did everything we could to make a move. We were offering this, and it came out, we offered 4 or 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, all this stuff. Like, you ain't got to convince me, bro, that you was trying to do something. Like, just get it done. Like, we linked to a lot of top names and things like that out on the market. Get it done so these guys can gel, because, like I said, if you miss out on whatever these top guys are, it would be great to roll into the postseason fully healthy. But what's the confidence level on that? Like, keeping
it's not very likely. Not very likely. This guy.
Like, we take all fandom and biases out of it, bro. Like,
most playoff teams ain't 100% healthy going into literally the past NBA champion. They didn't get Chris Porzingis until into the playoffs. So like,
damn near the finals, bro. Like, come on, dog. And their team is stacked. Like, we deep, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. But like, nah, bro, that's just my frame of thinking. Like, it's not saying it is the right or whatever, but like, go ahead, if you can make the move or 2 that you feel like is gonna prepare you now, go ahead and do it. Some dudes get used to it, because like I told you, I think last week, I said what's gonna suck is they're going to use the excuse of they're winning that they don't need to do anything. And that just ain't the case. I'm sorry. Like, we win in regular season games, but I've been saying for the last 2 years, regular season, so what? Like, let's go really make some noise in the postseason. These people trying to put us in the finals already. Not yet. But we close. We so close, bro. We so close. Oh, we so close. So, anyway, that's all we got for the No Bluffin news. On the other side, we're going to talk about this last week in review, some of the things that we saw from the Grizzlies, as well as Taylor Jenkins. Got some flowers to give him. Look, man, I'm hard on dude. I'm hard on him. But one thing I am, when he does something that makes sense, I ain't going to give him too many cookies.
Just a little something.
I give him a chocolate chip, to say, hey, thank you. You know,
we'll give him a little Oreo cookie.
Yeah. Not even double stuff. You get the thin junk, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we got to talk about them on the other side. So we got this commercial break coming up, and we'll be right back with the No Bluffin podcast. Y'all stay tuned.
I'm excited for the Grizzlies can be. As you mentioned, you guys are dealing with a lot of injuries, but that's kind of what excites you because you've seen a lot of guys like make a name for themselves. I think Jalen Wells has been like, I am just like, wow, by him. I think he was a guy that I didn't know much about. And so kind of seeing him like come into this like fold and like being a starter. And like, I think you're going to have to answer a lot of hard questions, especially healthy again. When you have so many guys that you can like plug and play like that makes it where it's like, oh, this team could be really good. And Zach Edey, I know from being a Grizzlies fan in Memphis, like the big has always been, you know, that puzzle piece that we've been trying to figure out what it's like, and will Zach Edey as a rookie be good? Seeing him play last night, it was like, especially when you think about like we were undersized, but how Zach Edey as a rookie can like dominate that area, and seeing the connection and the chemistry that he already has with Ja Morant is, to me, that excites me for like what is to come.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
And let's give Jacob Raven a shout out. I know he catches a lot of flack, but he's had a great week since that contract to get renewed. Even that night against Milwaukee, he had a good game. So
since Halloween,
I think he has the highest plus minus on the team, and he's been a plus in every single game since the first loss to the Nets. He's been a positive on the court ever since then. So
I mean, he's been the most. Is it weird that he's been the most reliable guy that we've had out there? The growth that Jake has shown just in a season's length of games is really impressive, and considering how like bad he was, you know, like when he got drafted, it's pretty impressive. It might be one of the most impressive things Kleiman's done.
Tune in to The Daily Grind with your host, Lute Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the No Bluffin podcast, where we keep it all the way real, all the way raw, and all the way honest about everything. Grizzlies. To my right is my right hand man, Evan Hayes. I am Chris Ingram, and we're gonna get into some of this Grizzly talk, man. This week in review, as we like to call it, man. The Grizzlies actually snapped 2 different streaks this week, one good, one bad. But which one you want to start with first, bro? You want to start with the first streak that got snapped? I mean, the good streak or the bad streak first? Which one you want to do?
Let's get the bad news out the way first. Let's get the bad news out the way. Let's talk about the bad streak.
All right, so the Grizzlies were on a winning streak that got snapped this week by the Dallas Mavs. They played them at home. Cup game. I don't think that was live on TV. They had a bunch of cup games on that night. Yeah. But it was it was a game. I just wish they would have come out on the other end. But the Grizzlies did snap what would have been an 8-game win streak at that time. It was 7, I think, before that.
Yeah, it was 7.
All right. Okay.
It was 7.
So they snapped the 7-game win streak, losing to the Mavs, man. Luka obviously did what he did.
Well, 6. My bad. 6. It was 6. It would have been 7 if they won. So 6-game win streak.
Okay.
I just counted it up. Yep.
Got you. So we got that. it is what it is, bro. Like, for whatever reason, we cannot get past Luka when we play him. It is so irritating. I remember, I want to say it was rookie.
No, it was second year job. Hit that floater. Oh my gosh, hit that
from the
floater.
3-point line.
Yeah, bro, I was so mad. That was pandemic. That wasn't rookie job. That was second year job.
Second year, okay.
Yeah, that was after the bubble. That was after the bubble.
Good God, bro.
Cause he locked him up too. Locked him up. And he just shot that crazy floater from the. And we actually was wearing the jerseys you got on now. I remember that game. We was wearing those jerseys that you got on now, and maybe they had them white and gold jerseys. I remember it all because I was so mad that game. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it's about Luka, because like we can match up. Like Ja and Luka like are damn near I would say on the same level. Like when it comes impact on winning and all that. It just close games we just cannot put enough against the Mavericks. And a lot of people on Grizz Twitter were kind of up in the uproar. And I feel like it was a pretty bad loss.
Yeah.
But in fairness, even though I feel like we should have won that game, obviously, that was our first time kind of in that situation this year, just playing a high intensity type matchup like that. Yes, I feel like there could have been better execution on the stretch, down the stretch with everyone involved. It was a few bad turnovers, a lot of bad shots. I know the second thing Spencer Dinwiddie made, Marcus Smart hit in the face. He just gave up on the play.
Yeah.
He just had this. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
I literally wanted to throw my controller at the TV at that. So yeah, but I feel like it was needed. Those type of games are needed. That high intensity, probably a team that we may see down the line. Who I think, if I heard before, why say it's gonna be West Conference Finals. That's who I think the West Conference Final matchup will be, us and Dallas. So we're gonna see them again. It's a very good chance we're gonna see them in an environment like that at home. So it's good to get your lumps now while you can. You know, right. Of course, you don't want to lose any game, especially a team in your division and in your conference. But I'll take it, like, as you can see, what we're going to talk about in a little bit, those things that we didn't do against the Mavericks, we did against the Celtics. Mm-hmm. So I would take losing a game to the Mavericks in December, if that means in May, June, July, we take that same lesson that we learned and apply it to that new game. So I wasn't really too hung up on the loss, honestly, because I feel like sometimes you need to get hit in the face a few times to know how to take a punch.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really too tripped out about it. I feel like the winning streak in itself was good because honestly, we was playing a lot of cupcake teams during that.
That's a fact.
During that,
we can be honest.
Man, we can be honest. Like, we're Grizzlies fans, and of course, play who's in front of you. We didn't make the schedule, obviously, but that was our first real test, and we played good for 3 quarters and 6 minutes, or 3 quarters and 5 minutes. So matchup wise, I tweeted, I feel like we can still beat the Mavericks in a 7-game series. Wholeheartedly. The Mavericks are predicated on getting to the free throw line. Well, Kyrie and Luka obviously doing their thing and hitting 3-point shots. And for 3 quarters and 5 minutes, we neutralized all that for the most part. Kyrie had, I think, 5, 6, 7 turnovers that game. Luka wasn't being Luka. We outplayed Dallas. It just down the stretch. We got rattled. I don't know if it was the crowd or just the cup or just bad execution. I don't know what it was, but we gave up a game. But I still feel like if there's anything I won't say a good loss, because I don't think there's no such thing as a good loss. But there's a term I can say for a loss that was necessary. I would say that. That's just my take. I know a lot of people was upset. I was upset too. But once I really thought about it, I feel like we're going to look back on, because if this team achieves what we think this team will be with the West Conference Finals, NBA Finals, NBA Championship, I feel like that game we can look back and say, okay, that's the game where the Grizzlies made that shift of what this team could possibly be. And that's what my prediction will be. I hope I'm right. But I feel like that game is going to matter a lot more in a few months than what people already think.
I agree with you for I'll say I'll connect the two in a second. Because I feel like exactly what you said was the reason why they went out and did what they needed to do against the Kings the other night. So I agree with you. So with that Mavericks game, bro, I'll tell you the reason why I was pissed at the loss. Number one, it's a cup game, and these cup games, for everybody that laughed and joked about that it was pointless. We should have just been you shouldn't have to incentivize millionaires or guys that are, even if they're on minimum contracts, they're still 6-figure earners in NBA. You shouldn't have to incentivize them to go out and play basketball. That's something that a lot of us go, down the street. They'll go outside and we'll go outside in our front yard and do it. And do it for free for hours. Even at I ain't gonna say you because you young, sure young too. But at our big age,
we both young.
Yeah,
like you ain't old. Come on.
Yeah. So we will still be doing that for free. And so that concept I understand. But those games, bro, they give you playoff atmospheres every single time. Every game that I've watched, that's a cup game for the most part, especially in the West. I mean, it's been competitive every night. And that was one gripe that I had about when I watched that Rockets versus Timberwolves game last week. Like, they treated it like it was game 7 damn near, in the West Finals. Like, they were going down, throwing punches back and forth. And you go and watch the Grizzlies, and like I said last week, we're not treating it with that same urgency, that same
that fire
intensity. Yeah, we weren't doing that. And you go out in the game against where, I saw a lot of these posts about like what the Grizzlies needed to still stay in the tournament. And it was kind of tough, and it was nobody's fault but ours. We put ourselves in that position, but they definitely had to go out there, and I think they had to beat them by 24 points. Yeah,
and then other teams had to like lose, and it was a whole lot of scenario stuff that we had to do. So I wasn't really too worried about that. I just wanted to win the game. I didn't really care about the cup. I just wanted to beat the Mavericks, but my fault. Continue.
Yeah, no, you're good. That was one thing that, like I said, you want to get a one up or feel like you got a one up on them by going out and winning the game. But then too, when you go back and obviously you watching the game, you see this. But when you go back and see the minute discrepancies that we've been talking about all year, Luka's big out of shape ass, he's never in shape. Actually, matter of fact, I ain't never seen him in shape. Unless like pictures and stuff. And the next thing you know, he come out on the court and he flabby as hell. But he played 40 minutes that game. They get the dub. Kyrie didn't have the best game at all. Shout out to Ja Morant, was playing great defense on him.
Immaculate defense.
I think it was Ja and Jaren both played 30 minutes or less. I think Jaren may have hit at 30.
Jaren had 29. Ja and Bane had 31 and Jaren had 29.
31. Okay. For real?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. Mavericks, Ja Morant, 31. Desmond 31, Jaren Jenkins 29.
I wonder if they rounded that up. I swear I thought either way, it's still same thing. 30-31, same thing. They played 9 minutes less than Luka. And we're not, and I get like the pace, I get the intensity of our offense and all of that. But like at the same time, bro, like when you play your best guys the most minutes, you're gonna most of the time, 9 times out of 10, win that game. And we haven't been doing that. We just have not. And you come out and you lose that game late. I get people talking about, well, Jaren played, majority of this and that. It's about moments in the middle of the game. You cannot keep waiting to the end of the game and basically say, hey, Ja, save us. Like, if you play to win the game the entire game, a lot of times we will be blowing these teams out or, putting ourselves in a better position. I think it was one part of that game, I tweeted out about it, where the Grizzlies needed they just needed something to push them over the top, bro. And it was, it's in the midst of Ja talking about he didn't want to dunk right now and things like that. And
we got that breakaway and he laid it up. Yeah.
He laid that jump up, and I'm sitting there like, Ja, like not right now, bro.
We needed that boost right there.
We needed that boost. The fans needed it. I don't care if they was away. Him getting that crowd involved would have got him pumped up. It would have had himself pumped up as well. And then his teammates. And again, we're talking about moments. I can't just talk about Jenkins. I got to talk about the players too. You wasn't gonna get hurt on that dunk. Not on that one.
Nah, no one by you, no one jumping at you.
Yeah.
And I have to point out, like, again, we're gonna talk about the game, but you see what just happened last night when he did not. Ja, you did not have to. I know you said in the post game you thought KP was gonna block it. You didn't have to dunk. You didn't have to
double pump. Come on, dog.
You didn't have to. You got up in there like, hey, you know what? Forget it. Like that's exactly what happened. But you saw.
I got a little LeBron in him, bro. He be lying sometimes.
It's a little bit. He be trolling just for the media a little bit. But it's funny though. LeBron be lying about like books he read and all that. It's a different level. LeBron be lying about what the music he listens. Anyway, this isn't LeBron James podcast. But just last night, when he hit that double pump, we was already playing well, but the energy shifted in that moment right there. The crowd got into it. The confidence that the Grizzlies started playing with even more after that happened. Yep. Those are the little things that this team, not just Ja, that they will know, because everybody knows basketball is a game of runs. They're gonna know at certain time. Okay, Jaren, you may need to. You may just want to contest, but hey, you may want to glass this thing right now. Mm-hmm. Just because you knock out the glass, we may get out of transition, a big play for the team, get everybody going.
We piped up.
Taylor Jenkins, you may have to get a tech because I dislike my high school coach, but he did this a lot. Sometimes he used to get texts intentionally just to piss us off. So sometimes you got to take a text. Sometimes if you down by 5 or 7 and the call's not going your way, sometimes you got to do that just to figure out what gets your guys going. And we've seen that the game that Ja got thrown out against the Kings, Taylor Jenkins was finna fight whoever that,
and they get piped up.
And they got piped up after that, and you see what happened. Like, that's why I feel like that game was a necessary loss. I hate that we lost that game. Obviously, I'm not advocating losing games. Mm-hmm. But we've seen just in our last 2 games we played, the things that we didn't do that game, we did against the Kings and against the Celtics. So like I said, when we get to May, June, and July, I feel, well, not July because the NBA season over. It's like April, May, June. Mm-hmm. I feel like that game we're looking back, especially if we see the Mavericks again, we were like, okay, we learned, as Elite the Shooter say, we understand it now. Like after that, it's like it's gonna be just like that, man. Real talk.
Yeah. So, going into, I ain't gonna stay in this game too much long because it was a terrible watch, that Kings game. I ain't got really too much to talk about on that one. Ja was awful. Jaren didn't play well. The highlight of that game for me was obviously Marcus Smart having a good game. If one of your point guards is gonna have an off one, the second one, doing what he did in that game, we needed that big time. Yeah. But it was Bane, bro. Like, he's been having terrible games lately. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Nothing wrong, but you're talking about Colorado. That's what they playing in their bowl game.
They playing. I can't
BYU.
BYU. Oh, it's gonna be major. Big game.
That's gonna be a huge game.
Yeah. What's the date on that?
December 28th. San Antonio in the Alamo Bowl.
Bet. I'm tapped in.
That's gonna be a big game. I wish I could have got a New Year's 6, but I understand it's different with all the anyway. But anyway, keep talking. I just thought that's dope.
Nah, yeah, for sure. That Kings game, bro, Bane running as much as he did with that second unit. Obviously, the second unit was playing well. Huff played well that game, like you talked about earlier. Santi doing what he needed to do. Obviously, like I said just a minute ago, Smart playing. I mean, just extremely winning basketball, bro. You can't ask for nothing from a guy like that more than that. Bane running a lot with that second unit. Him finally getting going.
Yep.
I know we don't want to really, and we not today, but this is from us that at least are open to the idea of him being your 6th man. This is what we envision, bro. When you get a bigger backcourt or 1 through 3 starting out that can still just support Ja and Jaren and whoever else is out there, and you bring off a Smart and a Bane the way that they played the other night,
and defensive wise, that would be crazy.
And defensively, yes. That's kind of where that's coming from. There's nothing to demote or demean his success, the player that he is. Pay him the same money, play him the same amount of minutes, but just mixing up those lineups and rotations to where, he's able to control a little bit more than what he's doing in the starting lineup, especially with what we can tell if you're watching. He's dealing with something, bro. He's laboring something because he ain't him.
But he's still fighting through it though. Like and Kenny posted our clip about we was talking about.
That was ironic as hell.
He was ironic that as soon as he did that, he started playing well. Like last night, Dez I think had 18. The Dez had 14 last night. 5 for 12, 2 for 5 from 3, 2 from the floor, and 3 steals. Like plus 17. He's slowly, as we said before, he's slowly finding his rhythm now. Against the Kings. Let me see what he had against the Kings. He had
played well against them.
Yeah. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 for 10 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 4 for 4, 1 steal. Like he's slowly, he may be dealing with something. I'm not gonna disagree. I'm not gonna.
He don't look the same when he's like at all.
All I'm saying is he doesn't, but I feel like he's still. I feel like if I was in the Grizzly front office, if I was in the locker room, I would be inclined to say this and saying, "Hey y'all, let me play through this because I know how I'm feeling. But I need to get ain't no way to get around this. This is something that is gonna have to naturally get better the more I play. So might as well let me play through it. That's what it seems like it's going through with Dez, and he's slowly getting back in his rhythm now. So I don't know, bro. It seems like we're slowly getting to it. And back, I know we're gonna talk about it right now, but the only reason why I'll be okay with Dez coming off the bench is if Gigi becomes Gigi. If that's the case, then I'm okay with it. If Gigi becomes Gigi, I have no issue with. I still wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't have no issue with Dez coming off the bench. But right now, no. That's all I'm saying on that.
You made me think about something that I meant to add when we were talking about trades, the trade season opening up. That's another reason on my list. I had it written down, I just forgot, and because I ain't looking, I'm kind of freestyling. I would love for Dez to kind of just, get you a week or two, bro, to just rest up. But right now we're in the middle of the fight, trying to make sure we keep our position in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You kind of gotta, with a guy like that don't want to sit down, especially when he had to sit down last year and he sat down sometime the year before that. His mind, he want to play. If we make a trade to go get another wing, whatever you want to say,
he can take a few games. He can take
a break. Yeah. And, we know, just keeping it real. What if you don't play 65 games? What award is Desmond Bane gonna miss this year? Nothing. But having him as healthy as possible going into the playoffs propels us further than anything. So that was another thing I wanted to add on kind of what we were talking about earlier. Just let him get a break because it's clear some ain't tweaking right in that back or that front, or he got sore toes, whatever. Like I don't know what's going on.
But him and Ja may take a rest game today. They're both listed for questionable for tonight's game.
Ja playing, bro.
I hope they do. I hope they both do. It just being that it's the Wizards, it's still an NBA team. They did just beat the Nuggets. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them takes a game off. That's all I'm saying.
Don't they got a little bit of a break this week?
Yeah, because they don't play to the 13th. They don't play until Friday. So they play today and then they got 5 days off or 4 days off.
Ja at least playing. I know. Because the thing is, you gotta think he can't miss too many more games if he try and get any type of awards.
Yeah, but as we just talked about last week, does he care about that much? Like
we don't know.
We don't know. But all I know is they got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They got 4 full days. They got a travel day. They probably gonna fly back tonight, probably, because it's a 7 o'clock tip. So, yeah, they're probably gonna fly back tonight, and then they probably not gonna practice tomorrow because they're not. It's a back to back. They're not gonna practice tomorrow. They're probably gonna have film and treatment. So then you got about 2-3 days to get ready for the Nets, who we gotta beat, by the way, because oh my goodness, we got smoke for them. Zaire, I'm sorry, my guy.
Back in this cage, ain't it?
Smoke for you, dog.
Gunslaw.
And it's at home too. So yeah. I hope they play, but just to keep that in mind. You say it like that, they got a lot of breaks. So I'll be shocked if both of them don't play. But
we'll see. But yeah, let's shift over to the Celtics game. For all that don't know. Bro, the Celtics had our number for a minute. I want to say they said that we haven't beat them at home
since 2013. 2013. Zach Randolph, Mike Conley, and Marcus Hall was on the team.
Come on, bro. Like that's awful. But we also in this Grizz next gen era, we ain't beat them. I don't think at all. Like at home,
we beat them once. Josh beat them once. I can't remember what year it was, but Josh won.
Was it at home last year? Right? When him and Bane were playing well. Not last year.
It wasn't last year. It was the year before last. And the whole Josh played the Celtics 6 times going to last night's game. He was 1-5 going to those games. So I believe it was the year 21-22 year when John Bane was just on that streak of putting up like 30 and 20 a piece together, and all that. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. We got Ed. He said his oblique covers his core and back. It affects all movement depending on it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if that's the case, which I believe 100% what you're saying, Ed, like, man, he needs some time out. Go on, make the move. Bro, go get Cam Johnson. Stop playing with me climbing. Go get Cam. Let Jalen Wells slide to the 2 and let Bane get about 2-3 weeks. Like, because Ed is in
PT school right now. He's in PT school right now.
Okay. So if based off what you saying, Ed, drop in the comments if what you learning and what your knowledge base is right now, for him to heal that up, just taking a rest off, how long would you say he needs to kind of like sit down and let that fully heal up and be ready? I want to hear what you say about that, because I said maybe give him about 2-3 weeks off, honestly, but maybe that's too much. Maybe that's not long enough.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, how many weeks you giving Dez Bane? He better.
I wish Rusty Whitten was in here. He's a
professional. Yeah, he's a professional PT person.
Yeah, so come on, bro. He probably in here somewhere. Rusty, if you're in here, go ahead and let us know, bro. What you think?
Rusty, one of y'all, Ed, Rusty, both of y'all know each other. I know Ed studying right now, so he probably tuning in and tuning out. But I would say 3 weeks at the worst, probably.
Get that man some time, bro.
3 weeks at the worst. But anyway, let's get into last night's game. Is obviously, the Grizzlies knocked off the Celtics in what I believe, and I feel like Chris can agree with me, probably the best win of the year, wholeheartedly, to knock off the defending champs at home with dang near everybody playing well. Even though Marcus Smart didn't play well, he got his first win as a visitor. I would say 3 to 4 weeks too. It just depends. Yeah, it depends on the severity of the injury. But of course, since he's playing now, I would hope that it's not that bad for him to get more than 4 weeks, but you never know. But the fact that the Grizzlies knocked off the Celtics last night in Boston is just everyone playing well. Ja Morant on a near triple-double, 32-99. He actually had a double-double, but they took away his assist. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 27-9. Dez had 14. They be hating. BC had 18, probably BC's best game of the year. He had 18, 8 and 4, 9-11 from the field. J Huff off the bench had 10, almost a double-double with 9. So Santi had 9. Just what was your thoughts? What was your vibes? What, being that we were a day removed from the game, how do you feel about last night's win over the Boston Celtics and breaking the streak as we previously alluded to?
Yep. I mean, it's gotta be promising, right? For a lot of different reasons. Obviously, like you said, breaking the streak, that's a good sign because we easily could have went up there and lost. They at home, former champs. Most of their rotation was healthy. We didn't get to see no Tillman minutes. I don't remember seeing him getting in the game last night. Yeah. But we needed that win just for morale purposes. If they go up there, they already lost to the Mavs this week. Again, not even just for the fan base, but for themselves. Like, how do you stack up against these top teams in the league? That's a big confidence boost, bro. And so, shout out to them for going there and doing what they had to do. Ja, that just shows you when he is on,
locked in,
nobody's gonna beat him. But when his team is coming around supporting him, that's gonna be hard to beat. Going into the playoffs, especially if he's healthy. So, like I said, with him even talking about the dunking and stuff, I'd rather have a healthy Ja than, him jumping, putting his, I almost said something crazy on here. Bro, him jumping over dudes, all that. Like, I've already said probably his rookie year that he has a better, highlight tape than Michael Jordan. You talking about being in his 6th year. It ain't nothing else that let me not say that because ain't no telling what he do. The showmanship has already been solidified. Now it's about, solidifying like him and the doubt of saying, can he win? Or his play style lead to winning. And I believe so. Especially when you got Jaren supporting him the way that he did. Like, that's what we need. And that's what I was talking about this summer when I was saying that Jaren's going to be the X factor for this team. Like, you going up against 2 all-NBA wings. And boy, do that just look, I ain't gonna lie, I'm low-key hating. When you watch them up close, it's like, bro, what could I give to get us 2 all-NBA wings on this team?
Not fair, bro.
Like, golly. So you're going up against them. You're going up against, like, some of the most elite role players in the NBA to support them. You got Peyton Pritchard shooting the damn draws off of the rim. Like,
when did he get that damn good? It seemed like he wasn't shooting like that thing.
He's always had a shot, but the problem is he ain't been able to put it all together since he's been there, and his playing time has been kind of limited because he's been younger. But
so now they say, give you 30 minutes a game, go do your thing. It's like they literally just said when they literally say, you know what, Peyton, forget it. You go hoop. Like, I don't think it's no plays. Just go in, shoot that.
Just shoot it.
Shoot the damn ball, and he's doing it. And it was pissing me off because he hit 6 threes last night, bro. Like, guys, body with. And every single one of them we had a response to. Like, I had to give us credit. Like, it seemed like just like what happened I'm going to keep mentioning the game because I feel like the parallels are evident. When Dallas made their runs, when the crowd got behind them, we seemed to shrink. We seemed to rush. We seemed to not execute down the stretch. When Payne Pitcher hit those threes, we calmed down. We got the ball in the people's hand they needed to, and we still made the plays down the stretch. That's what I want to see because it's going to be games like that when we're in Denver or we're in Dallas or I'm not going to say Minnesota because they don't look that good this year. But any other Houston, you can say Houston, I guess, or Houston looks good this year. It's going to be time where we're up for 9. They up in the West. They beat us. I got to give them respect. So we're on a 9-0. They on a 9-0 run. They hit a big 3 to extend the lead to 9. Like, we gotta know how to rally the troops, and we did that. I love just the poise the team played with overall. It didn't seem like the moment was too big for anybody on the team. And again, like you said, it starts with Ja. Ja was locked in from the jump. Being ejected from that Kings game was probably the best thing that could have happened to him for the Celtics game, because he was on demon time from the jump. Defensively, he was playing well. He was making shots. He was shooting a pit. That's what pissed me off about Ja, because I feel like he got to get mad for him to be able to shoot the ball. I don't understand him sometimes. I don't get it, because it's like Ja can't shoot. It's like he don't have the confidence to shoot, because he will shoot the ball now. Even though he's shooting like 28% from the field this year, his 3-point attempts are still up. I feel like he got to get mad, or some big got to have for him to shoot the ball.
Because he starts shooting with intention. That's the thing. Like, a lot of times, because he get those, he's going over the screen. I always get that mixed up.
Wait, what you mean, the defender?
He's going. I mean, yeah, that was dumb for me to say that. When the defender is
defender's going under the screen.
Yeah, they go under
the screen because they want him to shoot. They
want him to shoot. So when that ends up happening, it's almost like,
I gotta shoot it.
I got it. Exactly. I gotta shoot it, and he's not really shooting it with intention. When he's just like in his mode, rising up, it's the same thing with Marcus Smart. When he's shooting with intention, a lot of time it's going in. You saw him, and I got a theory, bro. I don't know what it is. He's not really playing that well away this year, like at all. But when he's at home feeding off the crowd, he's playing. He's making passes, popping around, doing behind the back,
getting steals, diving on the floor, all that.
Away, he looking very lackadaisical. Look, I don't know what's going on with that. But for Josh, the same thing. Like, when he's shooting and playing with intention, it's going in because he ain't thinking about it. And so, to your point, I think that's what you saw last night. He just, hey, I'm gonna shoot this jump no matter what. Shoot y'all, because we got to keep up with them. We know they shoot. Yeah,
we got to. Like, it was no choice. Boston, I know, was top of the league in 3-point attempts. Everybody, Jaylen Brown shot 10 threes last night. I think Jason Tatum shot like 9, I believe. Jason Tatum shot 10 threes. No, Jason Tatum shot 10 threes. Porzingis shot 10 threes. Drew Holiday shot 17 threes, which is utterly ridiculous. Payne Pritchard shot 11 threes. So that's 28, 38, 40. That's 50 freaking. Okay, never mind. It's going to make my brain hurt if I keep talking about that. Anyway, they shot a lot of threes. So, they shot 63s last night.
Shit crazy.
So actually, I just got a text right now. I'm gonna need you to talk. I think I'm finna have someone join the show, so hop in real quick, because I think I got someone to join the show. So
okay,
hop in real quick.
Yeah, that with what you were saying with the threes. Actually, I want to talk about that because I went back and watched Jaylen Brown and Joe Mazzulla's their post game. And that was one big thing that they talked about, was the fact that Jenkins, and I'm going to give him his credit, in the next segment, him deciding to just say, look, we're going to live with Drew, shooting wide open shots.
Yeah.
And it worked. Like you said, he put up 17 of them jumps. Like, that is crazy.
He only hit 4, too.
I'll take it. Now, would I go with that same scheme again when we play the Celtics, wherever time of the season that may be? Like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But it worked last night, and they both said, Jaylen Brown and Joe Mazzulla, they said we needed to see that because now we can work on in film and in their practice ways to combat that. Teams saw that, that worked against the Celtics, somebody's gonna try it again, and when it's time, it's not gonna work because Drew's gonna hit those same shots. So that was just kind of weird to see him, missing the way he was missing, but it worked out in our favor. But yeah, man, you got the link. Go ahead and shoot it to whoever.
Yeah, I'm shooting him the StreamYard league. I'm not gonna tell you who it is. He's another family member of mine, but he's also he's a reporter, and he's gonna introduce himself and all that. He works in Texas right now, so one of my dogs, real quick. So hopefully my boy comes in. He said give him like 3 minutes. So
okay,
maybe give him also he's a native Memphian as well. Just let me say that he's from Memphis, but he's a Grizzly fan and all that.
I got you. But yeah, man, that's what, for me, like them going in, like I said, Jaren taking over. Bane wasn't something wrong. That's all I can keep saying.
He still hit timely shots when he needed to, though. He made the layup when he needed to. He hit that mid-range down the street. Like, he's still doing what he needs to do to be effective on the floor, though.
Right. But when we get to the playoffs, if he's laboring the way he is, you count on I mean, we're gonna need a third piece, and we don't
Jalen
have
Wells,
history
Santi, yeah.
of Jaren being consistently as dominant as he was yesterday. If he looks inside himself and say, okay, this is the moment that I have shown myself going against the former champs, I can take over and dominate every game. I don't know why I would take that, but if that's the one, then we probably ain't gonna be in decent shape. If Bane is still laboring, because the point I'm making is that the downhill days, him trying to drive, it's like he was getting cut off every single time. He could not get much separation or get away from somebody to get to the rim as much as he does in the past. And so that's the fear. Like I never want to get up too high on these wins, even though yesterday was great. It was the second night of a back-to-back, for the Celtics. So again, great win, but let's also keep that in mind. I think they're in the same stretch we were in the beginning of the season where they have like 6 games in 9 nights. So we got to make sure that we put that at top of mind. But yeah, man, that's the only thing that worries me. Smart is gonna have to be way more consistent on the road than what he's been. I get the emotions behind it. I saw his wife was sitting behind the Grizzly bench.
His kid was there, his baby was there, all that.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta find a way to support them guys when we're going into these Hell in the Cell type matches, bro. But I mean, the way that they show just that growth, that leadership from the 2 main guys, and then the bench continuing to support them. I ain't got really too much bad to say. Just do what you got to do, which we'll see tonight. Y'all are watching this on Monday on YouTube. Them going against the Wizards. They go ahead and control that game like they should. The standings are close. I think they win tonight. They actually going to be second in the West.
Let's see.
They tied with the Mavs right now, 2.5 games back. So
right now, yes. Yeah, actually, yes, because who's the Mavericks playing? Are they playing tonight? No, they're not playing tonight.
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, they don't play until Tuesday, like you said. So yes, they play the Thunder on Tuesday, so that they lose that game, and we really get some distance away from. Well, it don't matter. We're gonna beat them regardless. But I do want to point on something. You talked about Tripp. I know how you said he didn't have the history of like being consistent, but I feel like we're seeing a different Tripp, man. Like he's averaging 22 points a game. He's averaging almost 6 rebounds. Actually, my boy is in the drop box right now if you want to let him in. Tripp is playing different, but I feel like he really last year he got his lumps. So I feel like he really knows how to hoop now. So if anything, I'm way more confident in him being our second option more than Dez right now. I just am, because just the yin and yang, like even if Dez was here, just the yin and yang of Ja and Jaren finally being the little big duo that we've always wanted them to be. We've seen it in spurts, but just really when they're on par. When Ja's played well, Jaren has played well also. Jaren hasn't had a lot of bad games this year. He's overcame his foul demons. I can't really say, of course, we talked about with DeMichael earlier this summer. We can always wish that Jaren would rebound more, but that's just not going to happen. It's not. Sorry, it's not going to happen.
I don't know the numbers. I can look it up, but
he's averaging 5.9.
Not for the season. I'm talking about like this last stretch.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up and see while you keep talking.
Yeah. Well, my boy in there right now. So if you want to let him in right now, or
hold on, finish that thought. I ain't want to cut you off. My bad.
Oh yeah, you good. But yeah, like I feel like I'm confident he's gonna be there. Like he's overcome his foul demons. He's being more control. He's not getting knocked off his spot now. He's knocking his threes down. I don't even really see a lot of holes in Jaren's game that we've seen in previous years. And last year, you could play Jaren out the game with being physical with him, or baiting him into fouls or all that. He just seems like a mature basketball player. So honestly, I'm really not worried about it. If, of course, it's still a small sample size. We're only 24 games into the season. But if he continues on this, like in his all-star and all defensive team type level, I'm not worried at all. I'm honestly not, because Jaren is a matchup nightmare. Whoever he plays, I feel like he really understands that he's a matchup nightmare, and not that many guys in the league can really guard him, and he can defend anybody in the league. So the fact that that's really locked in for him, I'm not worried about Tripp at all. Like, I'm so happy with the progression we've seen for Tripp. Obviously, Ja's the best player, but Jaren has been, in my opinion, MVP this year in the time that Ja's been out. So I'm just happy to see what Jaren is doing. Last night against Kristaps was just another game showing that he can go head over all the best bigs in the league, and he is one of the best bigs in the league. So I don't want to rank right now, but if I'm thinking about just straight bigs, I'll probably put him top 5 right now, just how he's playing. So I can't be mad at Jaren at all. I'd say probably top 5, top 10, probably. You know,
the thing with Jaren for me, bro, like it's the moments. Like he may go off in the first quarter, first half, and then
he had 16 in the fourth quarter. He had 16 in the fourth quarter yesterday.
That's what I agree with you. That's what we need to see from him. But I'm saying not every game is like that. Like you look at the game against Sacramento, 15-2. That ain't gonna cut it, bro. And I'm sorry. Like I get Sabonis is a perennial 20-10 guy. I get that. But you gonna have to go with Sabonis. He ain't the toughest. We seen some guys kind of call his card or pull his card a couple times, you know, in Sabonis. Great, you know, stat guy. I need when you play against these, you know, these top tier bigs, that's when I really need you to step up. But like you said, you know, some of these games I was looking at, you know, 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 9 last night. He had, like I said, 2 against Sacramento, so we got to, you know, get those up. Mm-hmm. But if he can, man, I'm sorry, if he can stay in that mode of that Boston game, 4 blocks, 3 steals, he was active.
He was engaged the whole game.
Yeah. That's what we need, Trip, to match Jaren. I mean, to match Ja's intensity, and you had them guys in, you know, that we missing. It's game over. But we're gonna go ahead and get Mr. Josh Crawford in the game real quick. Hold on, let me add him in.
Yeah, my boy.
Hold on. Here we go.
What's happening? My bad. A little late church break. How y'all boys doing?
What's going on? Good. Hey, for Chris don't know, this is my cousin, it's my kinfolk, Mr. Joshua Crawford. He is a graduate of, don't get me wrong, Prairie View. He was a journalism major. He also in part of NABJ. Doing a little bit of it now. He big wigging in Texas right now, sports reporter in Texas. So shout out to Josh, my boy Chris, my Josh. How you doing, Josh? How you doing? How Texas treating you, bro?
Man, it's all family. Nah, I appreciate it for giving me on. You know how it is in the journalism gig. Any opportunity to get, you know, some takes off to link up with some people and talk some info. It's pretty good. I'm down here doing news right now, so a lot of city council meetings, a lot of chasing stories, different things like that. But you know, this is where my heart is. So got linked up with DeMichael last week, and you know, even working at the CA this summer, like, you know, the game, continue to get the game, and you know, even what I'm doing, no cap, you know, stuff like this, you know.
Yep.
If nobody gonna give you an opportunity, you got, you know, create your own, and you know, y'all take it. You know, sane, and you know, the trickle down effect to y'all, like y'all doing, you know, legit business. You know, before we get into anything, I'm gonna commend y'all for that, because we all know how hard it is for a black man to excel in the media space. So, you know, I'm a fan of y'all. I tap in with the post game live reactions. I like seeing, you know, everybody want to get that info intake immediately after the game, and you know, y'all do it the best. I'm a fan. I'm glad to be on, man.
I appreciate this. A long time. I should have got you on early. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's on me. If you don't know, Chris, Josh is also from Memphis as well. We grew up same. He went to Los Angeles, so now he's tapped in with the city as well. So Josh know his ball, bro. So I'm excited to have my boy Josh.
I tried, man.
Yes, sir. So Josh, we was talking about the Celtics game. I don't know if you had to catch it, but what were your overall thoughts on the game? Who you thought played well? What you saw from Jenkins? Like, what was your overall thoughts after probably the biggest win in the season so far?
I know, I you know, being in the backstage, I heard the Discord that y'all had back and forth about Jaren, Chris, and you know, I see both sides of the coin. Like for me, like Rays, you know, in the NBA, the team that we grew to love, the Grin and Grind Grizzlies, you know, Jaren is always going to be missing that certain level of, you know, the rebound is going to come and go with him, but that physicality, you know, having a guy like JV, having a guy like Edie, you know, in an ideal world, you would want to scale up Jaren in terms of whether his rebounding or just his physicality, so you can get him more, you know, solidified minutes at the 5. But you got to work with the personnel that you got. It would be a disadvantage to Jaren to consistently put him at a place, at a position that, you know, is going to hinder his development. We've seen that with draft picks all over the past 10 years. The guys, they got their talent, but with either coach situation or, you know, they're rolling the floor, they don't pan out. So I think that, not to saying you per se, but at a certain point, we have to flip the tide on terms of, you know, Jaren is who he is. This is what, year 6 for him now? And of course, he's
I think 7.
7, because he came here before Josh, the year before Josh. He's year 7 now.
I got a good brother with me. So at this point, you know, it's more about an evolution of, like, what is the way to maximize skill set versus, guys can always develop, there's a whole offseason in the summer. But at this point, I believe that we're going to be working more with, how to maximize Janitor for it with the shot creation versus kind of continue to pound the table with that the things that we wouldn't want him to do from a traditional center. But for me, Cuzzo, look at the last two games. You're looking at the two top teams in each conference. Western Conference represented for the finals with the Mavs, and obviously the reigning champs of the Celtics. And outside of the actual results with the Mavs, I don't think you can have any. You can't come away with either one of those games expecting them to play any better. Obviously, with the availability of Ja, getting to the court, that's the first thing. Wanting to see your guys come out and have, from my perspective, compete in playoff level intensity games. Now, obviously, the Mavs game was a cup game, the Celtics game wasn't. But to see that level of intensity on the floor with, Ja's only played 8 or 9 games. So you see with a lot of teams that are kind of in that upper to mid-tier range in both conferences, talking about the Bucks, talking about even the Celtics to a certain extent. They're struggling with, ramp up into the cup play or, trying to really establish themselves and get enough on tape to kind of have an identifiable pecking order in the league. And so for the last 2 games, obviously you want to have better late game execution in the half court. We missed some makeable shots, but talking to the Michael, that was something that really jumped out to me. That's something that he said, talking about the late game half court execution. You have all these pieces, but the pieces don't really come together when the offense stagnates. But outside of that, you cannot reasonably expect better play on the court than you saw the last 2 games. And talking about defining the pecking order in the NBA right now with the Cup a fourth of the season, you literally look at the 2 teams we played, and I think you'd have to be a fool to slot the Grizzlies anywhere outside of the top 5 after the 2 games they just gave, again, the last year's NBA Finals matchup.
Yeah, I feel that. So, you got it, Chris.
No, you go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, so being within that, what are the things that you do want to? I know you said you probably with James probably played the best way you can. I know you saw what job with the availability of job. Outside of that, being that you slate us in that top 5, what do you want to see maybe, especially at the end of this year, going to the beginning of a new year, that you want to see us improve on that will maybe push us into the top 3 instead of the top 5, in the West and overall, all that?
Well, I think solidifying, expectations for seasons. What I just mentioned, we just played the 2 top teams in the NBA by definition. So we had to have a solidification of expectations. Like, we've been to the playoffs before. We've knocked out a guy that looks like a future superstar, Anthony Edwards. We went up against AD and the Lakers. This is not a team that's in a situation like Sacramento where they're happy to be back, or they're happy to just to be advanced in the first round or the second round of the playoffs. I think that with the history that this team has, the guy that you have in their prime, and again the playoff experience, I think it is a reasonable expectation to have championship level expectations. Now, obviously, the obvious caveat is availability of your star, whether it's health or any other off-court reasons. But I think that that is the first thing. Any organization, you need to have some clear definable metric that you want to hit, through the season, whether you got some of the teams at the lower end, talking about the New Orleans, or, the race for flag and all that. But I think the first thing you had to set some solidified season expectations and stand on business, essentially. And I think that in this case, with the last 2 games that we saw, I think championship expectations are realistic expectations to have. And transparently, before these last 2 games, that wasn't sure. And if we had saw some different performances in these last 2 games, we would have to make some adjustments. But with that being said, I think that we're all watching the same game, seeing the same things. We just have to solidify that wing spot. You got guys that are trending up and down, little inavailability, and when he's in, not really wanting to shoot the ball. A guy in Jake that I haven't been the highest fan of, but you got to recognize when ball is balling. Somebody that is contributing to your team in a bunch of ways when it's not necessarily popping on the box score. I think that's the one true thing, because you have the league right now. Your most, how should I say it? Most top 10 teams in the NBA, you're going to have the apex when you're looking at a Tatum, I say Kawhi, but you're looking at a Kawhi, you're looking at an Ant Edwards. A lot of these playoff teams are going to have that do everything wing, and the counteract to it is to have a guy that you're not going to have a prime Kawhi that's going to completely shut down a Tatum, Anthony Edwards. But you saw the way that that Wells and Marcus Smart are able to bother those guys from getting to their spots, bother those guys from initiating offense. That is the thing that we would need to solidify. So That's like I said. Well, it's not secret. It's not a secret. It's not. I'm not coming here with any revelation that y'all haven't seen before. I think the biggest thing for me is would you have guys missing this extended time? Obviously it sucks with Vince coming back, showing some progress and being hurt again. The biggest thing, and then obviously Gigi with his extended timeline, forming that chemistry. Having those definable roles rolling into the playoffs because. At this point, like I just said, I think the regular season is, you got to take care of business. But I think it's a safe bet to assume that we're going to get into the playoffs and avoid the plan from my perspective. So having that definable chemistry, those definable team roles going into the playoffs, that's the biggest thing. Gigi, if you're not going to start, you're running the scoring on the second string, whether initiating offense, catch and shoot, handling the ball at a pick and roll, definable roles. Vince, if you're whoever that starting wing is. Vince, Jake, whatever. Your job is to guard the other team's best player. Sit in the corner, shoot these threes, making them at an efficient rate, but your role is to defend the other team's best player. So just having those definable roles on the wing spot where that is the most, you got the most up in the air right now, that'll be the biggest thing for me going into, just to really solidify, expectations, going into the playoffs.
So you saying when Gigi come back, he's not out of the rotation? I'm trolling, but I'm just trying to get you to double down on that. That's kind of what I'm hearing, right?
From my perspective, and talking to D Mike, as a somewhat professional talking to a real professional, you take what people tell you and combine it with your own personal feelings. So from my perspective, Gigi is, I think it's kind of clear, honestly. Gigi is definitely the most highest upside wing that we got at that position. But what does this team need right now? We're not in a situation like Charlotte where we're just kind of fleshing all of these guys out and seeing what we have, and it may, I would say, hurt Gigi in the long term, but he's in a more constricted spot with us right now than he would be with a team that wasn't winning as many games. So, I think that all season, that's where you get your skill development. That's where you kind of throw everything out and see, who's a top dog. But for right now, with the momentum that this team has and the expectation that they have this year going into the playoffs, is like, hey, figuring this out as soon as possible. Like I said, whether it's Vince, whether it's Gigi, whether it's Jalen Wells, whether it's LaRavia, defining that starting wing and letting that wing know what his definable role is. All NBA players are going to be a shot, but just know that you are definitively, what y'all said, fourth in the pick and roll behind Ja, Dez, and Bane, and somebody that's going to be comfortable with that. A guy in Gigi that, much I love, he does take a little bit more of a rhythm in terms of getting to his shots, and he likes to do more than the ball than you want a playoff ready wing to do. So I just think the definability of those roles for all of those guys I mentioned, Vince, Gigi, Jake, that'll be the biggest thing because going into the playoffs, even if they're turning the calendar, they're only going to have 30, 35 games together. So they're going to need to kind of fast track some of that chemistry and some of those definable roles versus, them having all 82 to figure it out.
So what you saying, and like, this is my question to you, because I don't know if you was on when we first started. I asked Evan the same thing. December 15th is when the pretty much majority or at least half of the leagues going to be available for trade at that point, based off those that signed deals this summer. With all these guys, and I'm of the mind frame, if you got too many that you can't decide, then you really don't have one. My personal opinion is that Gigi's going to take that mantle, but he ain't healthy, so we can't really talk about Gigi until we see him play. Do you think you waited out to see what you got, kind of like what Evan was saying earlier? Or do you, in your mind frame, do you say, all right, well, we know we're basically top 2, top 3 in the West. We looking great coming off of these big games that we're playing. Do we go ahead and try to make a move to put somebody in there that we know is solidified as a top 3 wing? I mean, a top wing on this team sooner rather than later.
Me and DeMichael got into that last week, and I'm gonna disagree with him here. All of the auxiliary guys that I think you're kind of referring to in terms of that consolidation trade. I'm on the same boat that, like I wouldn't, in the playoffs, we've seen a guy like Ty Jerome and TJ McConnell have moments. So I'll push back a little bit that, you'll have guys that are maybe a little shaky in the regular season, but whether it's matchup or, veteran experience, whatever, you can have guys that kind of raise their profile in the playoffs. But for me, I'm a sports journalist, math. I just say Gigi is the only guy that's not a starter that would be untouchable to me. I think between first of all, you got the South Carolina connection with John. You had you see the flash and the early availability that he had. That you see the flashes and the things that he was able to do last season. I just think that there's too much that, or I just said it earlier. that apex predator, ball handling, 3-4 combo, that's probably the most valuable archetype in the NBA right now. And to have a guy that you can see that's been able to show that in flashes, I think that's too valuable to not wait out and develop and let it pan out. So, we have hard decisions to make. I think right now, this very moment, obviously G's not playing, but I think this very moment, Vince and Jake LaRavia are better basketball players than Gigi right now. But I don't think we need to get that caught up with the how should I say it? Abandoning our long-term future for what we need for this season or even next. I see how that y'all going, but that's what I'm
damn, Josh. All damn.
Mr. Crawford. Nah, I only got to call you kinfolk. Not Mr. Crawford.
That's what I'm here for, because of the Celtics.
Do you know what you just said
like
right now?
I'll put it to you like this. What I like, Gigi Jackson is a better hooper than Vince and Jake. I think that's under question. Shot creation, the way it looks, and even long-term potential. I would, I'm on the boat of like that could be a guy that other teams would give up pieces to get us from him at some point. But going back to, kind of what I said earlier, I think for this season and maybe next season, with your definable championship window, what does this team need? You need a team. You need a wing to guard the other team's best player and a guy that's going to hit open threes at an efficient rate. Now, all of the things that Gigi does, got to think about it like this. Got to look at history. Vince Williams, 37% guy from 3 all his years of VCU, been above average 3-point shooter in here. And like I said, Jake, not off of him, but for the guy that's been playing right now, one of the better defending wings in the league. So we're going to talk about what this team needs. Gigi at this stage right now, not talking about 2 or 3 years out, he's a guy that is slightly behind, Jake and Vince from my perspective in terms of being ready for playoff basketball right now. So, like what you were saying, Chris, Gigi's untouchable for me. Like Gigi would be the one guy off the bench that I would not allow to be touched because of his age and trade value. But for what can get this team closer to a championship in the next 2 seasons, at this very moment, December 8th, 2:27 p.m., I think Jake and Vince give you more that solidified goal expectation role than Gigi does right now. And that's okay. I had run on Jake. Jake is somebody that I would have dished alongside the David Roddy pot. But, like I said, that's smarter than me. And B, looking at like Jake had situations where he was giving Tatum and Brown problems last game. Hell, I saw Paul George being able to initiate offense against Jake LaRavia. So trust me, our eyes and our heart, I think, are aligned in the same way. But again, just going back to what this team needs, you got Ja Morant and Jerry. Y'all talking about it before I got on. Both of those guys are probably top 10 shot creators in the league. We don't need any more shot creation from a guy in our starting 5. Run a second unit, get up all the shots that you want right now. And hey, that's a hard kind of a realization for a young guy to come to. But this is the blessing and the curse that comes with being on a team that is good. So, like I said, Gigi, like I said, I love him, but if you want to get your shots off, you want to explore the full fleshness of your bag, you can do that down in Charlotte. But if you want to win a chip, you want to win some playoff games, you want to get some playoff experience, I would say that we need guys right now that are gonna come in, make shots, defend, and it's not a high variance. You're not gonna wonder what you're gonna get from them.
See, Josh, I was trying to be nice because he was a guest, but this is my thing. This is my thing about that. I don't want to call it a narrative. That viewpoint of Gigi, right? Like a lot of people, and I had some words with people about Gigi. So obviously I got points that I may like forget when it comes to this. But this is my thing when it comes to him. When you talk about like people that say what you just said, and I know you have a respect for him based off what you said. But when people lead with that a lot of times, as far as like the shot creation, him getting up shot, he's a chucker, he's this, he's that. I think a lot of that came from last year he was on a team that was doing nothing. Like I think that when he got out of the G League and they finally said that, okay, we're gonna unleash Gigi. We've seen him on national TV putting up 30-point, 40-point games against elite players. They're giving him, hats off. He's topics of guys' podcasts and things like that. To me, when you get these nods and this, what's the word I'm saying? These basically them saying, okay, he's next up. I felt that way already. So this ain't really about my personal opinion, but just looking at the landscape of the league, what other player would you look at from a team that has that skill set, the production that he has? And basically, you're talking about just superstar, at least all-star, but I'm looking at superstar potential with him. What other team would put a guy like that on the bench? Who wouldn't start him? And in my parallel, I got into not a shout match. I got into words. With my guy Sean Coleman, probably over the summertime or right, but when the season was ending, in a space one night, because the parallel that I have with Gigi is if you look at their games, take accolades and where they are right now, take all that out. If you can take that part out, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. When you look at Jason Tatum, his rookie year on a team that had Kyrie Irving, he had Jaylen Brown, obviously, he had Gordon Hayward. Yeah. I think you had
Marcus Smart.
You had it coming out of his prime, I think, Al Horford at that time. I may be wrong on that, but that team was loaded in Tatum's rookie year. His expectations were not high at all, but he still put up an efficient rookie season. And you look up 3-4 years down the line, that's his team. You don't sit Jason Tatum because he's around a bunch of talented guys. You let him flourish and be what he's going to be. And now we look at they've been able to enjoy the fruits of their labor at this point. They finally got over the hump, being a champion, things like that. When you look at skill sets, even almost down aesthetically to the way that they move, both of them had small lower bodies and kind of tough or wider upper bodies. The way that they dribble, the bag that they got, the only thing that's different is they shot the way that it looks. But everything aesthetically is almost lining up the same. Production lining up the same if you look at rookie season. I just can't see any other team in the league that has a player, when you talk about just laying out what they've done and what they can be, they say, all right, we're just going to sit him. Not sit him because I hate saying that. I said it about Bane. But we're not investing starting this guy. And I know saying he brings up a good point, kind of like what you said, Josh. Typically at that 3 spot, especially if you got like a guy like Desmond Bane starting, you want him to defend the other team's best player. The problem with that is I feel like Gigi, outside of Ja Morant and love to what Jaren is doing right now, love and kudos and props, and we need to keep that going. The guy with the second most potential on this whole team is Gigi Jackson, hands down. And I don't think that you slow his growth, his potential, his production, damn near for anybody except for Ja. And I don't even want to say slow it for Ja, because eventually, if Gigi's the best person on this team and you got Ja next to him doing what he does, good luck, bro. Good luck beating that team. You know what I'm saying? If he reaches what he can be. So that's what I want to kind of push back, and I want to hear what you got to say to that, because obviously me and Evan, we didn't have this talk plenty of time. But I want to hear kind of what you say to that.
Chris, I could like I said, there's a lot of alignment in the way that we see things, and there's transparently there's a lot more logic in your argument than some of the other arguments that I encounter. I'll say this specifically to you, and this is an open question. What would you rather prioritize? Because this is what it comes down to. Like, I'm not as high on your ceiling as Gigi talking about Tatum, talking about all NBA guy. I'm not that high, but I do agree that we could look up 2-3 years from now and he could be the best / most talented guy on having the teams of the league. I am high, but I'm a high school. I'm a hoops nerd. Like Gigi was a number 1 recruit coming out of high school, and even the transformation that he did coming as a guy that was a 4 or 5 play finisher to the wing thing. Like he's legitimately special. Would you rather prioritize the development of Gigi Jackson over the next 2 years or maximize your championship window? I do not think that you can do both of those. Now, I can be wrong. I'm just a simple local news reporter. But from watching this team, and also we have a guy that's kind of was in the same example coming out of this city, James Wiseman, number 1 player in the country, go to a win now situation of the Warriors. He's not up to his NBA process and his ability to be a winning player right away. Contribute to where Big James at now? Somewhere on someone's IR. So,
he on the Pistons IR right now. Yeah, I think he on the Pistons right now.
So if we could do both, I would love to. But in a situation that we're blessed to be in terms of having this championship window right here, like I said, if it was a situation where it was, I don't want to speak on last year, but if we weren't as good as we were this year, for whatever reason, I would be more keen to prioritizing Gigi's development in terms of fleshing out everything that he could be. Because I agree with you, Chris. I think that he could be a guy that can be a 20-point per game scorer in the league. But just the defensive development for what we need right now. He's not a guy that brings that. He had the tools, but he's not a guy that brings that lockdown night to night. I'm sure that G's going to cover his rotations. He's not going to leave an open shooter. He's going to compete every night with a Tatum, with a Brown, whatever. He just did not bring that to the table. That's not a skill set right now. But I think that you just had to look. You had to look at the question. You had to evaluate that question and see what your priority is. And it's the opposite of between a rock and a hard place. I don't know what the flip of that narrative is, but it's a great place to be in where you have two great options to prioritize. But for me, how hard it is to win in this league and how close you've been in the spot that you're in now, I think as great as a gym that you have in Gigi at these next 12 to 24 months, you got to prioritize what gets the Grizzlies closest to NBA championship. And I don't think you can do that. And at the same time, flesh out and max out what Gigi Jackson can be in the starting lineup. I don't think you can do both at the same time.
Hold on. Let me just say this real quick, Evan. I'm with you. My fandom of Gigi makes me want to say star him. If you type in star Gigi at the 3 on Twitter, probably 99% of those tweets are from my page. But I'm on record saying, kind of going back to the question I asked you, go get a starting caliber wing right now, but don't go get a guy that cannot basically relinquish those reins when Gigi's
supplanted. Cam Johnson,
right?
Cam Johnson, a guy that can hold that role the next 2-3 years, and once Gigi comes more consistent defensively, you just swap him. I feel you, Chris, for sure. I feel you.
Go ahead.
I just think that, if it's in a situation that, like last year, we saw those flashes. The reason we even having this conversation because we saw those flashes. But this season expectations right now to a point to where like the past 2 games, it just puts on another tier in terms of what is that priority for the franchise. I just think like from my perspective, we just seen it go wrong too many times in the NBA and teams squander championship windows. So I think that, like I said, it's a hard decision, but I think that at this very moment, you got to focus on what can the guys that bring to the table every night force versus how can we max out the guys development in the next 12 to 18 months.
I'm gonna say one thing to both of y'all because neither of y'all said anything wrong, but a point that neither of y'all brought up is, to Josh's point, we can do both if our head coach doesn't screw it up. That's what it comes down to, because you brought up the James Wiseman sample, which is true, but I would give up a guy that you named that isn't playing right now, Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs knew they had a gem on their hands, but they also knew they were contending for a championship. Greg Popovich knew how to maximize Kawhi so Kawhi can still be Kawhi while also knowing he has Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, and they won a championship with Kawhi not being the best player, but also starting, also doing what he needs to do to maximize in his role while not studying his growth. Those two things can be
Indiana too.
Paul George in Indiana. They knew they had someone in their hands, and you see the Pacers were making it easy to come to the finals like it was clockwork during the early 2010s. That can happen if Taylor Jenkins doesn't screw it up. If we're not confident, if I agree with if Taylor Jenkins if he can screw it up, I agree with you, Josh. If he doesn't screw it up, I agree with Chris. That's literally what it comes down to. That's literally what it comes down to in my eyes. If Taylor Jenkins in the front office and Isolo and all that can figure out a way to not stunt Gigi's growth while still having him, like I was saying before you got on, Josh, I'm only cool with moving Dez to the bench if Gigi is Gigi or what we think Gigi would be. That's the only way I'm okay with moving Dez to the bench. If he doesn't become who we think he would be, he's going to have to start at the 3 or come off the bench, whatever. Then he can rock out the second unit, yada, yada, yada. But if we think Gigi is good as we think he will be or can be, the front office can't fumble it. Because, Gigi can play well all day and he can have all the tools all day. But he has to be put in the proper positions to succeed. Chris brought up the Jason Tatum parallel. The reason why Jason Tatum turned into Jason Tatum is for number one, Gordon Hayward got hurt, obviously. That's an obvious reason why his timeline got produced more. But also, Brad Stevens at the time said, okay, we have this 6'10" guy that dribbles like a guard and can finish like a big. Kyrie, that's why those things clash, because him and Kyrie couldn't figure out how to do it. So it all comes down to coaching at the end of the day. So if we can't figure it out, then Gigi don't need to be Gigi right now. But if we can, then cool. And that's That's literally what it comes down to. Because all those situations we named, Paul George, good coaching. Kawhi Leonard, good coaching. James Wiseman, not a very good coaching situation. And how you just said was Jason Tatum was bad, but turned into a good situation. That's what it comes down to in my eyes.
To Josh's point, though, and this is what sucks, and it goes back to that Bane conversation as your sixth man. To Josh's point, Jason Tatum had Jaylen Brown next to him.
I forgot that. Damn, I forgot that. But yeah, you're right.
So you got to defend him.
Chris, Greg Popovich definitely living up than Frank Vogel. But what do those two guys have in common? NBA championship level coaches,
right?
And sustained success with a variety of different personnel. Me and D might got into it, but neither one of us are sure that Taylor Jenkins is that guy to get them over the hump. But also, we haven't seen that diversity in terms of ways that Jenkins can win when the game hasn't been playing like in our way. That's why Luka kills us, because it's hard for us to adapt to a game that's not being played at our style, that slow pace, that methodical half-court game. So,
one-on-one, yeah.
Kind of going off what you said, Evan, you have those guys, those successful development of stories, but like what both of y'all said, you have to have those pieces in place and an intentional strategy to kind of balance those two timelines. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Climate has put us in a situation to where you have these things at your disposal, but you need to have the personnel, the non-player personnel, to capitalize off it. Or I think what we're all going to, cut your losses and say you need a consolidation trade, which it ain't the worst thing. But I do think that there's a finite timeline of trying to figure this out versus when it goes into mismanagement, and then you kind of cut your losses and consolidate.
Yeah, you're waiting too long. You're waiting too long to see what you do have, and then you miss your window because you try to play both sides too much without committing to one or the other. Yeah,
no.
I see that.
But we're going to move it along and kind of end on this one, man. Like I said, I wanted to give him his flowers because even though we were talking about literally just a second ago about championship coaches and things like that, two things can be true. And that's why I always say, like, when you're talking about sports, bro, you have to, at least if we have an educated sports conversation, we got to have nuance to it. Everything is not going to be one way or one-sided. You're going to have some good, some yin with the yang, some good and the bad. And I'll say this, I don't believe that Taylor Jenkins is a championship level coach because he hasn't shown that he's capable. But in these last two games over this last week, you look at the game against the Kings, you look at the game against most recently with the Celtics, things that we've been begging him to simply do, play your players more. Number one, I give you that with the Celtics game. Our core three all played over 30 minutes. We need that to win games, especially playing against two all-NBA wings and a finals champion in the Celtics. But also in the Kings game, when Ja and Jaren didn't have it going. Now, Ja disqualified himself, but Jaren didn't have it going either. And you finish with the guys that got you there. That's the feel that we've been begging him to coach with, not just putting guys in because of pecking orders or who's playing well or all of the politics that's kind of come with Taylor Jenkins over really his whole tenure of these 6 years. He's kind of shown that he can abandon it. And my only ask is that you continue to do those two simple things. Your game plan is one thing, but what are you going to do when the game is not going the way that you planned it to go and you learn how to pivot? And so I want to kind of give him some quick flowers on that because as much as I come in here and I'm talking about just over the top of the head with Jenkins that I will do sometimes, I got to keep the same energy when he's showing that, okay, I do know how to right the ship in certain ways. So just talk about that. Evan, I want to talk, Josh, you the guest. I'm going to go ahead and get you to kind of speak on that. And then Evan, I want to get your opinion as well.
Actually, like this kind of goes to even me being on here. Like you said, Chris, duality is an important thing. And like you said, educated, nuanced sports conversations. It's the reason why, having an adult job also for mental health wise, kind of that curse you're getting the top of Grizz Twitter because it is a lot of one-sided and all black and white conversations. So, I really appreciate you recognizing that because there are two sides of the coin. And sometimes you can feel in this where, with debate coach or whatever, you got to pick one side and stick to it. And,
I hate that.
My side is this. I got to ride with my side. It gets politics.
Whatever. I can be wrong. I said that at the start of the episode, Joe. I said, bro, I will say something and I don't mind being wrong. It's okay. It's okay.
We all literally talk for a living. You're gonna say wrong things out of your mouth.
Right.
2 points to the side, kind of going exactly what you said, Chris. And D Mike gave me a lot of clarity on this. Taylor Jenkins can be a lot better coach and put this basketball team in a lot better positions than the other 29 coaches would, and can also be a guy that can be holding the Grizzlies back from from reaching that last threshold. Both things can be true. And from my perspective, and hearing from D-Mike and kind of watching the games now with that perspective, I think both are true. You have a situation to where, Taylor Jenkins utilized the personnel that he got. Best athlete in NBA, I would say, inarguably, honestly. You have a team, a super young team. You got a team that, streaky with shooting, which helps with transition play when guys get on a break. He utilizes that. He gets it. They're always, always top in pace, always top in transaction points. But also, manufacturing strength with his bigs. You got Edie, you got JV. You haven't had a dominant low post scorer. I mean, JV for the rental that he was here. But you haven't had a guy that you would necessarily want to be the first option that you would throw it into the post and go get 20 and 10, a Vucevic type of guy. Outside of that, he's still been able to consistently keep the Grizz solid on the boards. And we've seen, once it gets to playoff basketball, even with us, we have a guy like AD, taking over. But there are a lot of teams that have personnel disadvantages to where their coaches kind of throws it out. Like, hey, we don't have the personnel to do anything with this. This is going to be a weakness. And Taylor Jenkins is not somebody that gives into that. He actively worked to try to, throw situations at the problem. Whereas whether it's with a J Huff who may be allergic to a rebound, but he's still 7-1 and can protect the rim. So I will give him credit for being, like I said, somebody that actively works toward resolving some of the personnel problems we have on the roster. But on the flip side of that, you at some point, and I think this year is the year to where we got to make some definitive decisions. DeMichael, I wouldn't say push back, but just gave me some of that clarity in terms of some of the adversities, the things that Taylor has dealt with in terms of not being able to have a full-fledged 82 games to put his stamp on the team and to have that definable role expectation way to execute and win down the stretch. From my perspective, it's like, hey, you still get paid $1 million. If you get 50 or 40 games to kind of flesh out your game plan versus 82, I think you should be able to do it. But again, D-Mike is expert. And in the same way that I will be kind of hesitant on Gigi this year because he missed training camp. He's missing a lot of time this year. If he is a Jason Tatum level guy, that will play itself out in the next 2 to 3 years. And that's something that's an elongated timeline for that. But for this year, like I said, multiple playoff appearances, multiple playoff exits when you have the same problem in terms of half-court playoff execution. I think this is the year to say, hey, you have gone to the playoffs before. These have been the reason why we've been bounced. Obviously, personnel in this playoffs, you run up against good teams. But if we struggle in the same way in terms of not putting up 89, looking like the Grizzlies in the playoffs, I think that is the indicator like the baton needs to be passed. We need that Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr kind of handoff where we're like, we appreciate what you've done for us here. You've gone into a place that we did not think we could get to, but you are not the guy that's going to get us over that hump. And I think that we all got some nostalgia in terms of, where TJ brought the team from and kind of the things that he's done. But this is the year to where we make a decision. We either cut bait or we go forward. And, transparently, I don't think that we're going to find out any of these things until the playoffs because, level of intensity, but also, what I just said to start when I came on, this team, nothing that this team wants to accomplish is going to get done until April. So I think it's a hard situation, but we're going to have a very truncated timeline once the playoff, those 3 to 6 weeks that we're in the playoffs to see and decide if Taylor Jenkins is the guy to get us over because, baseball, you got 3 strikes and you're out. And there's a situation to where with this championship window with the guys we got in this prime, climbing, we need to be able to make hard, swift decisions that may be unpopular, may be seen whatever, but we have a championship window that's unique to almost anybody in the NBA, and you need to maximize everything you can and take the evidence that you see in front of you to act upon it.
Right. We got Anthony Sang joining. We only got 3 spots up, but I need you to stay in, Josh. So we're gonna close this out here in just a second. But we're gonna add Sang in because he jumped in earlier.
You can only have 3 people on StreamYard at one time.
Well, it's some things going on over here. That's all. So we'll get that fixed for next time. But let me get. I ain't trying to kick. Hold on. Let me see. Can we do it like this? There we go.
Kick my boy.
He's still here.
Oh, okay.
Just in the background.
Just can't see him for.
We still hear him and everything.
All right.
Hey,
what's up, Sam?
What's going on, my guy?
Man, I'm good, but let me flip my camera. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Hold on, man.
Lock in, son.
Let let him get right real quick.
You know, it's funny. I take Sane. Like, I didn't even tell Josh me and Josh go. He was like, "Bro, what is wrong with you?" He's like, "How the hell I've been knowing this man for 2 years and I ain't tell Sane." But yeah, to your point, I kind of agree with Josh. I feel like it's definitely put up a shut up time, and we won't know that until April, till May, till June. But to your point, Chris, yeah, he's been doing what he's supposed to been doing these past few games. During the Kings game, honestly, I'm more impressed with him with the Kings win more than the Celtics win because, like you said, Ja got ejected last 6 minutes of the game. Jaren wasn't playing well. We had to rely. I think he finished the lineup with Jay Huff, Scottie Pippen Jr., Jalen Wells, Marcus Smart, and BC Rasanti. Like, that was a very weird closing lineup. And it worked. We didn't go to Jaren like the last 2 minutes of the game, and it seemed to be working. So, yeah, I have to give him his flowers on playing well and knowing when to take timeouts. That was my biggest gripe with him. He would not take timeouts when we was on a bad end of the run. But now he seemed to be learning when and when not to take timeouts, when to switch defenses up, when to put certain guys in. He's not having guys in with other guys he shouldn't need to. So he's doing better. I have to give him credit. But I also have to say it's a small sample size. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be sold on what Taylor Jenkins could be for this team, like how Josh said, until April, May, and June. Even before that, if we can finish this season, I know they don't care about that, but at least from my own personal, I want to see us break the win record. That's going to be at least a regular season barometer for me, is if Taylor Jenkins will be potentially the guy for this future. Because the win record now, if y'all don't know, of course everybody in the call know, but people are calling in, or people that's watching, 56 and 26. If we get 57, 58 wins, okay, then I can say, okay, maybe Taylor Jenkins coaching a little bit. But until then, or until we see what happens in April, May, June, then I can put my final verdict in if he's the guy for the future. But right now, he's doing better. But I'm not fully sold though. He's playing right now. Before these past few games, I would say Taylor Jenkins was like a 6 level, was scale 1 to 10, a 6 coach. Now I'm like at a 6.57. That's what I would say.
Gotcha. Sane, I know you've been in and out in the comments and everything like that, man. What you got on just this last week, man? Kind of to sum up your thoughts with the Grizzlies, what's been going on as far as the coaching, the team kind of locking in. What have you said? I know you ain't recording to Tuesday, but to give the fans just a little a preview of what we probably gonna hear on Wednesday, man. As far as
last week, man, both of my shows asked the question like, "What are the Memphis Grizzlies? Like, how good are we?" Those type of questions. And the Dallas game had me wondering, like, well, I think we're good because we just had the NBA Finals team. We were beating them the entire game pretty much. And then we just kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter. So I said, I think we're good enough to be on those type of teams level. I think we're in that conversation. I think if you ask me, are we a good team or a bad team, I'm definitely going to say we're a good team. And I think that we're a contending type of team. But I was like, man, the fact that we blew that game really didn't sit well with me. Like the fact that we had the team down like that and could not close it out in the fourth, that had me pointing fingers at a lot of people, being honest with you. Maybe question, do we really have the depth that we said we have? It could make me question the coaching, of course. It made me even question our big three. Like, our big three is Ja, Jaren, and Bane. All three of them came up very small in those moments against Dallas. So it made me question a lot of things. But after this Boston game, I'm leaning way more towards that we are a good team. I think I can solidly say that. I think this team has mental lapses, and I think they have still struggled with some immaturity and some self-doubt. I think that our team does kind of have some imposter syndrome that happens with them sometimes when they kind of forget just how good they are. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that can be overcome in time. I think Taylor Jenkins is a good coach. I think if you split the league in half and you say the same thing with the Grizzlies, is he a good coach or a bad coach? I think he's a good coach. I think he's a top. If you split, like I said, if you put him with the good and the bad, he's with the good. I don't think he's a bad coach at all. They're just these little nuances of coaching that he constantly shows issues and struggles with. But we saw it in the Boston game. Like, he did the things that we've been crying about on Twitter, like, why doesn't Taylor Jenkins do? And then all these people come back and say reasons why he doesn't do it and all these type of things. When he actually did it, they made Boston look inferior for most of their game. Like, we were beating that Boston team that entire game. And they pulled out the win. And it was the difference between that Boston game and that Dallas game is he said, okay, Ja, Jaren, Bane, go win the game. Brandon Clark, screw the offense, go back old school. And it was working. You know what I mean? Those type of things are being unlocked. I just think this team is really good, man. I think we're really good now, and I think we're just going to get better. Like, we had this whole conversation about, Vince, Gigi, Jake LaRavia, Jalen Wells, all these type of things. And it's crazy because I'm gonna get off soon. Let y'all have it. But like we had this conversation about Marcus Smart, right? When Marcus Smart first got here, look at what the roster was when Marcus Smart got here and his expectation level, the things that we wanted him to do. We brought Marcus Smart here because they knew Tyus Jones was gone. They knew Dylan Brooks was gone. They got a guy on a $20-something million deal that they expected to do both. They expected to be backup point guard and to be your best defender on the team. That's something they definitely intended him to do. Since then, when he was on this team, there was no backup point guard. And we had Zaire Williams, Jake LaRavia, not this version of Jake LaRavia by no means, and David Roddy. That was their other wings on this team. That was it. That was their dudes. You know what I mean? And look at the roster now. You got Vince Williams, Jalen Wells, who's another steal in the second round. This version of Jake LaRavia, which is not like the one we had 2 years ago, and Gigi Jackson, all on this team at the same time. So, like, so much has changed with this team where a guy like Marcus Smart, he's a guy who could play 15 minutes last night and it didn't hurt you at all. You know what I mean? And you didn't even feel like you didn't even need him because he was 1 of 11. You know what I mean? So we're in a really good place as far as wings go, man. And if you can go out and get another guy who can be that solidified starter who closes games, Jalen Wells is good. But they do not close games with him. Like, you don't really see him after mid-third quarter. Like, he just ain't coming in. But I think we need a guy. I think we do need a guy who's going to be the closer. We don't know what Vince is going to be. And that's the thing about Gigi, too, man. With him being as good as the scorer he is, we've had this conversation, me and you, the three of us, a ton of times. I'm not really a fan of Gigi being the starter just because of the rest of the dynamic of our roster.
The defense,
because it's making Gigi have to be your best defender. You know what I mean? Dallas finds a way to get away with it, where their backcourt is two guys who don't really defend like that. Because even with Ja playing hard defense, at his size, he's just going to struggle guarding guys one-on-one.
Right.
Bain, of course, isn't really a good defender. So that you're always going to be stuck with a guy like Gigi wondering how could he break into that starting lineup, right? So, it's just something to think about, man. Like, I think as far as that conversation y'all had, I heard parts of it. I don't want to speak too deep on it because I'm not really sure Josh is saying what I think he was saying. But Gigi ain't better than Vince Williams Jr. Like, that's just Vince ain't better than Gigi is what I mean to say. He ain't better than Gigi. That's just
He was saying in the now for this team this year to compete for a championship.
Yeah.
But
like the value that he's gonna produce, like what this team is needed. That's what he was saying. Like,
for the same reason that you just said, defending.
Let me ask you a question. If going into the season last year, even at the trade deadline last year, if you ask Dallas, okay, who's the better big man? What's the kid they got?
Lively and Gafford.
You say who's better? You say Gafford. Gafford's better for what they need right now, type stuff. But what happened in the finals?
Lively, baby.
He's a better player. You know what I mean? You know, and he's always been the better player. Like, that's the thing about Gigi, man. Like, we say those things now because, you know, it's the truth now. But guys like that who've always been top level talents, there's no telling what he can turn up and be, you know, when the lights get really bright in the playoffs. And like, we haven't seen him do it. You know what I mean? That's true. We haven't seen him do it. But that's why I'm a big fan of Jalen Wells, because we are seeing him play in big games. We're seeing him start games. You know what I mean? And he's playing in meaningful games. That's something we can't say about Vince or Gigi. Like, that's true. We've seen Jake in big games.
That's true.
We've seen Jalen Wells in games that matter. We have not seen Vince or Gigi Jackson playing the game that matters. But I think that Gigi's talent level would trump all that type of stuff for sure. But I was about to say something crazy, but no, I'm a new man.
You're a new man.
I was going to throw a Trump joke. I'm gonna throw a Trump joke and mix it in with leave it.
Nah, let's not do that. Let's not do that one. Let's not do that one.
Man, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. Keep pushing Bluff City Media. You guys come in and just innovate a lot of things with what we're doing. Yeah, we all copying y'all style, bro, because y'all are pushing all of us. You two guys coming on the Bluff City Media has pushed the rest of us for sure. So y'all just keep doing it, man. Keep doing it.
Love, family.
All right, bro. Y'all take it light.
All right, for sure. We hit you up later, Sane.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sane. Be easy, bro.
Well, man, hold on. Let me get it right. There we go. We back.
There we go.
I think we kind of wrap this conversation up with a bow, man. You know, if Jenkins at the end of the day shown what he showed over this last week and just builds on that, stays in there, because like I've said before, your job as a coach is to not lose games. It's not for you to really be this most innovative, forward-thinking guy. If you do that, great. But Jenkins, you've been here 6 years. Like, if you was gonna do any type of innovation and thinking like that, you would have done that already. This new offense is Isolo's offense. You're just the face of it at this point. just don't lose us games. The shots are gonna fall, they're not gonna fall. The guys are gonna have good days like Ja did last night, and they're gonna have bad days like he had the other night against the Kings, where I don't know if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, could have been some personal stuff. He human. That stuff is gonna happen. What you have to do as a coach is just make sure whatever you're doing is not causing them to lose a game. Period, point blank. And if we can do that, I think we're gonna be on the good side of history. You're looking at the end of the season, as well as Kleiman doing what he needs to do at this deadline or before to maximize this team and consolidate, like you said, Josh. So any last words, man, on any of these topics that we talked about today before we get up out of here? We had 2 hours and 640 people live. We appreciate that. Live on a Sunday, right after church with Sunday football on. So we appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Any last words before we get up out of here?
I won't say push back on D-Mike, but just something I throw out to him, like kind of what we're saying right now, because I'm fervently more in the come on, TJ versus like giving him time. Some of these things that we're talking about, some of these decisions that he's struggling to make, or with the Boston game just coming to, these are not decisions in deployments that other coaches are struggling with. You look at NBA minutes leaders. Chris Finch has never had a problem putting out Edwards for the entire fourth quarter. Obviously Thibodeau with his play style, but all his guys are going to average, going to be tops in the league in minutes. You look at Denver, Mike Malone, a guy that I think will be a parallel in terms of coaching talent. Jokic, always top of the league in minutes played. So we want to give props to do, but I would like to recognize that like some of the decisions and some of the things that we're applauding for are things that some coaches on a similar level.
It's regular. Come
in knowing, and they're never discussion points. So like I said, to start, like the place that we're at now, there's certain conversations, certain things that we should be above, and at a certain point you got to reevaluate. Are we asking the right questions? Are we getting the necessary? Are we getting the back and forth from a championship coach that we need? And even with a Boston win, I just think that rotation and that deployment of the guys, it's just too and far few between. So I think that those are questions that we'll have to really evaluate and look at really closely when playoff time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely feel like we're at a point, since this is year 6 with Jenkins, it's kind of like the analogy, like if you're playing a team that you're completely inferior on and you're giving guys credit, like that's what you're supposed to be doing. Like it's like a baby, it's like a kid that's reading that's in 3rd grade and he's reading on the 1st grade level. Like you're supposed to be doing that. Like we're happy for you finally getting to where you're supposed to be, but you're supposed to be doing that. So I definitely agree with you on Josh, on that, Josh. And unfortunately we came on December 8th. We ain't gonna know that answer on December 8th, December 9th, or December 10th. We ain't gonna know answer that question until April. So as Grizzly fans, we just gotta, unfortunately, we were stuck with Taylor. I want to say stuck. I don't want to say that, but we have Taylor Jenkins, so we have to deal with the card that we're dealt, and hopefully they can figure out the best way that they can. Because I always try to think about like what would be the alternative of bringing him in, because you never know if you bring someone else in, it can maximize this team or it can set this team back tenfold, which is a legit concern. So I'm more in the camp of like, we since we got TJ, come on, don't screw it up. We don't got time for you to screw it up. That's the boat. I mean, I feel like me and you kind of on the same favor, Josh. I just don't like no one the excuses for him. I don't like people also like crucifying him as well. I feel like people are just taking what it is, and the fact that we have a great team, and hopefully we have the personnel and also the coaching staff to do what we should do, is that's in winning the championship. So we just got to see what happens, man. And I'm still confident that we can get it done. It's just hopefully TJ and Eastlow and the crew don't screw it up. That's all I got.
Well, that's it, man. That's all we got for y'all today. Josh, man, we appreciate you chopping it up with us, joining in, man. We have to get you on again for sure. I enjoyed the conversation. The thing about it, like we talk about the nuance, like you can learn from anybody, bro. And that's the thing about it. Like just because I see a certain way, you can say something that make, you know what, that's a good way.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly what you're saying. I didn't think, or I didn't, I didn't take that into consideration when I was thinking the way I was thinking. Because at the end of the day, bro, it's all entertainment. Our love for the game is one thing, but it's entertainment, and also for us in Memphis, it's a little different.
Facts.
Man, we looking for that championship, bro, and we so close. I say it all the time. We closer than we ever been. This roster is the most talented it's ever been, and that's why a lot of conversation I don't like having or wasting time having is because we so close. So when you say, what are you doing to maximize that window, Josh? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters more than anything. Don't let this slip. We don't know the next time we'll be in this position. We're looking at 25 years of history with the Grizzlies, 20 in Memphis, so a little bit over 20 now. It's go time, bro. It's go time.
And these windows open and close shorter than you expect. We got Jaren right now. God forbid it's Sunday right now, but this window cannot even be as open as long as we think it is. So it's such a nuance.
Knock on everything.
Say right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Close to play. It's a thing, like you said, the city needs it right now. It's more than basketball out here. And I think that it would be a disservice to the front office not to prioritize that over anything else, given the talent that we got on the roster, like you said, Chris, but also the history of this town and the history of the history of this team in this town.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
That's facts.
Well, Evan, I know you got a post-game bounce that's going to be dropping after the Wizards game. You got that working. Make sure y'all tap into these post-game bounces, man. Bluff City Media is kind of moving more away from the traditional writing aspect. Respect to those that still do it because that is a needed component. But just trying to be a little bit different in that regard. And so everybody that y'all see that pop up on these post-game bounces, trying to give y'all something different that you can listen to as you go about your day after these games. So shout out to Evan. I know you're part of that crew holding that part down. Josh, I know you said you are in journalism. If you want to kind of just plug what you got going on before we get out of here.
Oh, for sure. No Cap Sports, wherever you listen to podcasts at. I got my day job doing local news, but for this stuff right here, Twitter, Instagram, then we on TikTok too. Like I said, just dropped an interview with DeMichael, trying to get something with Tigers beat writer Jason Muggs coming soon. So we got we got a lot of folks will be interested in here. Will be interested in that as well. And transparently, with the way that they going, hopefully I can get linked up with more Bluff City Media stuff. And I'm an observer of a fan far away, and I think the combo went smooth. So if y'all liked it, drop some comments and stuff. You say y'all like me, saying I needed to shot whatever, and hopefully I can get that.
Oh yeah, and I Kenfolk, cuz I appreciate this is too far gone. We should have been did this. I know I need to get on your show, so trust me, we would try to get that. I appreciate you on a short notice too, because I don't know. It was like, let me hit Josh up. So appreciate you responding. We need to do this again, but real talk. And I'm real proud of you do everything you're doing, bro. Like I'm more than proud of you, bro. Real talk. I'm so proud of you.
It's love, Cuzzo, for sure. And like you said, it's a two-way thing. Like I'm a fan. Like I was literally listening because I consume y'all content, even with the OG saying coming in. Like you said, Chris, you gotta be able to receive different viewpoints. So even outside of the journalism and the family link, like I'm a fan of y'all. Y'all put out good work. So that's above everything else. That's why I'm on, I'm honored to come on and kind of share my pieces. Like you said, Chris, swap gaming brains with people that are high thinkers and do it at a high level,
Facts.
It's the only way you're gonna grow, man. That's it.
Facts. Also, I got shout out to Tiger for they playing right now. So I'm gonna tune into this Tigers game right now because they playing right now. So y'all tune into Tigers. Shout out to Tigers too.
Yep. That's all we got, man. Another great episode, longer, but hey, this is what we do, man. At this point, we known as the long running, Bluff City Media Podcast. Y'all support it, so we appreciate that. I know a lot of time when I'm out doing stuff, driving, whatever it may be, I need some this longer, a longer listen to some of the shorter stuff. So, man, look, if y'all, y'all can keep supporting us, we're gonna keep giving y'all, what y'all support us in. So we appreciate the love on that. Like we always say, man, this week, make sure y'all do something that makes you feel good, something that makes you happy and puts a smile on your face. That's what it is, what it's all about. We'll be back. The Grizzlies got a couple games this week. Oh, Evan, I forgot it again, bro.
I'm so sick of you, Chris.
It's just
I'm so sick of you. It's just part of the bid. Chris gonna forget that we playing people, and it's gonna be funny. All right, let me pull it up. Today's Sunday, so of course, this video is coming out on Monday. So we got we really only got before we talk. We only got two games. We got the Nets on Friday, and got the Lakers on Sunday in LA. So we got two games.
3-0.
Josh, give me
3-0. Last time, part of me want to say 1. You remember what I did 1-3 last.
You was right, and you was right. 3-1. You was right.
0-3, man. Hey, y'all got me to think. 0-3.
All right, Josh. We got the Wizards. We got the Wizards tonight. Got the Nets and the Lakers. What's your record prediction for this week?
I ain't gonna lie. Even though they just beat Denver, no way. Can we cut
No
my
way.
hair? No way in hell they would. I would say 2-1. It's just something about Brooklyn. I came around on Cam Thomas. Obviously, they split this at home, and it's the NBA. So teams lose games they're not supposed to lose, and teams win games they're supposed to win. So obviously, we won a 3-0 week. I think we're better than all three teams, but for some reason, whether it's the Zaire Williams revenge tour or Cam Thomas, whatever, Brooklyn seems to have our number. So I'll go with a 2-1 week for us.
I'm gonna go with Chris. I'm gonna say 3-0. We got smoke with the Nets. We definitely got smoke with the Lakers, and we should just, if everybody play tonight, as y'all said, we said before, Ja and Dez are both questionable. But if we got smoke with everybody, so if we take care of business, I say us going 3-0 for the week, and we will see y'all. Hopefully, me and Chris is right next week because we got a long break, and then we got the Warriors on the Thursday. Yeah, we had a lot of we're getting a little break. Yeah, so it's gonna be some good games coming up for sure. We got the Hawks, the Clippers. Yeah, we got some good games coming up for sure.
For sure. Hey, y'all be good this week. We'll catch y'all next Monday on YouTube. We'll probably be live again on Sunday on Twitter, trying to keep that going to give y'all different avenues of just ways to consume the content. But y'all be good. We'll see y'all next week, and as always, go Grizz.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the No Bluffing Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.